we go. And 3, 2, 1. And roll sound. Welcome to the official podcast of Silverflight Productions and SilverflightPro.com. Forgot the name of the show.
Just almost.
This is the show where we talk about movies, TV shows, and the news. There's lots of fun stuff going on this week. We've got some things to talk about for sure. Welcome. If you're joining us on the pre-recorded version of the podcast, which you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that fun stuff, you can now watch us stream live as well. So thank you to everyone who's here live right now. Really excited that you're here. And if you're listening to this after that, you have a chance to go back and watch these on Twitch, which is where we stream. Just go to twitch.tv/rollsoundpod. They'll be there for 14 days. I'm also uploading these to YouTube on our YouTube channel, which is just youtube.com/rollsoundpod. So,
Rollsoundpod.
Yep. It's everywhere on the internet. So
Roll sound. We're literally everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember a place we aren't.
Oh, SoundCloud.
Oh, yeah, actually, that's right. We used to be hosted exclusively on SoundCloud, and now it's the only place I can't get on.
Mm-hmm.
Funny how that works. Okay, so we have got to get into the news because there are things to talk about right now.
They better be good.
Well, first off, you want to talk about how the fact there was a new Ghostbusters teaser trailer dropped this week?
What?
Did you not hear about this?
No.
Okay, so basically, all it is just a kind of shot that moves in on a barn, and then there's some lightning and thunder and stuff like that, and then it jumps into the barn. There's no really.
What the heck was that?
If there is, it's really like under the mix. And then kind of a tarp flips up, and it's Ecto-1. You know, it's the back of the Ghostbusters car. Yeah. And it's being directed by Jason Reitman, who is the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the originals. And I believe it's Ivan. Ivan?
Ivan.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's definitely it, because they're Russian.
Are they?
I don't know.
Wow. Way to make a call there, Willie.
Well, people just believe things I say, so.
You say them with such confidence.
Yeah, I guess so.
But the whole thing kind of just dropped, and everyone was like, what? It's coming out in 2020, so we've got, a year and a little bit to wait. But people are not really sad about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's none of the Ghostbusters, as long as it's not the girls.
So it's not, and that's the thing is, this has been it's been reported that it's going to revolve around a couple of teenagers.
That's even worse. 2
boys and 2 girls.
What the?
Because it's fair, I guess.
Let's make everybody happy.
But Leslie Jones, who was in, you know her from Saturday Night Live, and then she was also in the Ghostbusters reboot. She was not happy about this, so she took to Twitter. So this is at LesDog with 3 G's.
What's up, dog?
So she basically she was applying to Melissa McCarthy and a couple other people on Twitter, and said, and I'm gonna be censoring this as I go. So I'm gonna try and come up with fun words to replace this with.
Let's hear it.
So insulting, like front us. We didn't count. It's like something Trump would do. And then she put in parentheses Trump voice. Gonna redo Ghostbusters. Better with men. Will be huge. These women ain't Ghostbusters. Ugh, so annoying. Such a male genitalia move. And I don't give a flarp. I'm saying something.
Well, there you go. Does she not know the movie sucked?
Apparently not. Look, I saw it, and
I couldn't even watch it. I watched like 5 minutes of it, and I was out.
I was able to get through it, but it was just like I was watching it to see why people hated it so much. I wasn't watching it because I was entertained. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough scripted comedy. It was Paul Feige. Actually, I was watching some of the special features because I don't know why, but I signed up for like a movie service, the Movies Anywhere thing. Yeah. And I got Ghostbusters for free. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, cool, Ghostbusters for free.
And I was watching some of the behind the scenes stuff, and like the scene where they interview Chris Hemsworth. Yeah. They did like 2 hours of improv for that scene.
Jesus.
And just let them go. And obviously the actors are having a lot of fun, and I don't have anything against having fun on set and doing some of that, but. What Paul Feige said, the director, he said, I had to let the actors take over the movie. And I come from a background as being an actor. I've been doing that for 11 years now.
Yeah.
And no, you should not.
Yeah.
You should not let the actors take over the movie.
Is it different with comedy though? Like I heard a lot of like Jim Carrey stuff. They do that.
Well, right. You give them more leeway with comedy, especially because it's what can happen in the moment. And giving your actors freedom is one thing, but letting your actors run the whole movie, it becomes very much I have to steal the show every moment.
Especially with 4 comedians all in one room.
Right, and they are 4 people that are funny. Yeah. You know, like nothing...
Funny-ish.
I have nothing against any of those people, but the movie is a mess because of that. Yeah. And you know, and people love Bridesmaids, and I think Paul Feige, who always wears a suit. Yeah. Or Paul Feige, whatever his name is.
What's wrong with you?
He's a weird dude.
That's okay. It's alright to be weird. 2019. Also, did they not know that there's going to be women in the reboot? Or girls, I should say. Teenage girls?
Well, apparently Leslie Jones didn't. So basically, she said this, and you know, she was blaming Trump for this somehow. And
2019.
I guess your tweet can't be relevant unless it's about Trump. That's what I'm doing wrong on our Twitter @RollSoundPod. And and she said all this, and then basically the news came out, and they were like, no, it's a group of teenagers and all this stuff. And it's
gonna be worse.
Yeah, probably. I'm going to be
teenagers.
And the amount of jokes that I'm sure Sony will try to sneak in there about kids on their cell phones and stuff. It'll be just like Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh yeah,
it'll be just like that.
That was Sony.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, but I get what you're saying. Okay, I get what you're saying.
But it's going to be that same thing. Like, and people love Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, and it's fine if you do. But that movie's just okay.
Yeah, it's just okay, but I can tell you it is rewatchable. I rewatched it 3 times.
Oh, you've seen it 3 times?
And I don't rewatch a lot of movies.
Yeah, that's really weird for you.
But it when it comes on, you almost can't help but to like watch it because it's like The Rock and Kevin Hart and Jack Black.
Yeah, and
it's like you can't look away.
And Karen Gillian's really funny in that as well.
She is.
She really shows some comedic chops. Like there's good stuff in the movie, and maybe I need to give it another chance because I loved the original so much. And it's such a different movie, you know.
It is, but this one definitely pays homage to it. Is that the right word?
I feel like it doesn't pay homage so much as it tries to pay fan service. And I feel like those are a little bit different.
Yeah, I guess, but you're right.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that you were willing to think that through and let us all be a part of this experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You want to get into the next piece of news?
Let's do it.
All right. Jeremy Renner has returned for Avengers Endgame reshoots.
Woo, I don't know who that is.
Jeremy Renner is Hawkeye.
Oh, dude, was he even in Avengers?
So he wasn't in Avengers Infinity War. A lot of people were mad about that because he was included in a lot of the marmarketing, but apparently he's going to be a big
part of the second
part
one.
of Endgame. I still haven't watched the trailer for that, but I have...
That's dumb.
All right. What, the movie or just the trailer?
The trailer.
Oh, okay. But I have watched the trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home.
That was dumber.
Oh, dude.
That a word?
What? No, I'm excited for that one.
That looks so dumb.
I'm not sure about what they're doing with Mysterio, but there's a part of me that just has wanted to see Mysterio for so many years on screen that I will watch it with an open mind.
For sure.
I wish he had less Iron Man-y powers. I mean, they make fun of that in the trailer, so there's a little bit of that. But like, I don't know about the idea of him being a good guy because I want him to do messed up stuff to Peter. Like, I think in the comics at one point he makes him see his aunt die, and it's an illusion, but like he does that type of stuff to mess with him. Yeah. And that's what I want. I want that kind of psychological.
Yeah, I can see him doing that to Peter in this movie to try to stop him from doing stuff. Like, let me do it, Peter. But I don't get it because Peter doesn't want to do it anyways. But then there's
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, and they're telling Peter that he needs to put on his big boy pants. It's a dumb movie.
Look, we don't know yet. It could all work.
It showed the whole movie.
You liked Aquaman, so shut up.
It sold over $1 billion.
Look, all the Transformers movies sold over $1 billion, so that's a terrible argument.
I guess so. Aquaman was good, bro.
It was a movie.
You like Bumblebee.
I liked parts of Bumblebee. You guys talked me down off of my delirium.
You liked it until we had to remind you that movie was absolute garbage.
But the stuff that's in it that's good is really, really good.
It's like 10 minutes of good.
It's really good 10 minutes, though.
Have you seen Blockers yet, by the way?
I still have not seen Blockers.
I watched it a second time. It was even more funny. Gosh, like, it made me so mad.
I might give it a chance, man.
It made me so mad how good John Cena was in Blockers.
Because
and how
he's so terrible at everything else.
In Bumblebee. I mean, he's had some good movies, but like most of them are like...
Yeah, I remember all the Fred movies. Those were cinematic masterpieces.
I didn't even watch Fred. Was John Cena in the Fred movies?
He was Fred's dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, anyways.
Don't watch those.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch this. It came out like 10 years ago. Anyways, what's next?
So Jeremy Renner has returned for Endgame reshoots. We've also had Zoe Saldana and Kieran Gillian also doing reshoots.
I need their superhero names.
I'm sorry?
I need their superhero names.
Gamora and Nebula.
Okay.
So, and basically, like someone on Twitter tweeted out about this, and I forget who it was that tweeted, but they were like, "Oh my gosh, they're still doing this? It's coming out in 2 months." It's like, yeah. It's not a big deal. They've just got to do last little pickup shoots. Also, people's schedules and stuff, getting people together with that cast is crazy. So
it's a pretty big cast.
Yeah, it's huge. It's really big. So it's nothing to worry about. Reshoots and or pickup shoots are just, they're commonplace, and they've got time because they're still working on everything else, and they just got to slot these in where they go. So, all right, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them 3. Part 3.
Well, part 2 of the second movie. Why are they calling it a third movie?
It's the third movie.
Well, I mean, like...
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Yeah. Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. Fantastic Beasts, The Money.
I mean, they should have done Crimes of Grindelwald Part 1, Part 2, but whatever.
I don't know, man.
Let's just get the number up there.
I wish... That movie's bad. It's not a good movie. It should have been.
You'd be surprised how many people like that movie. Everyone I talk to that's a Harry Potter fan, they love it.
Well, I think they love the world more than they love the actual movie itself.
If it gives them that world and they love it, they love it.
Bumblebee. Originally, Warner Brothers greenlit the Harry Potter prequel idea as a trilogy, but extended the plan to a five-film Fantastic Beasts series after J.K. Rowling realized the story could do well with more movies. Or alternatively,
Part 1, Part 2.
The real reason that she did that... Guys, you realize we could make money if we just split this up more?
Because that's what they did at the end of Harry Potter.
And it worked so well with The Hobbit.
It did work well with, I forgot what I was about to say.
Cool. So, Deadline's reporting Warner Brothers has pushed back the start of production on Fantastic Beasts 3 to allow the creative team more time behind the scenes in prep and pre-production work. According to Deadline, the movie would need to already be in soft prep to start filming in the summer, but that's not happening. So, in addition to Rowling returning as a screenwriter, Fantastic Beasts 1 and 2 director David Yates is also expected back at the helm. And previously, the movie was expected to start filming in July, but now it's not going to start rolling cameras until the fall, so it may be that it doesn't hit its November 2020 target window, so it may be 2021 when we actually get one of these movies again.
Cool. 2-year break, I'm down with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, 17 years. Give me 17 years of breakage.
Whoa. There'll be another Harry Potter reboot before then.
That's a little... Yeah, maybe. 17 years is a while.
Give it 10 years.
I don't know, man. I don't, like, they haven't rebooted Star Wars. They've just continued with other stories. I think that's what they're doing right now with Harry Potter. I'm sure they'll continue doing that.
They're going to reboot it.
All right, so you're calling it now. In 17 years, there will be a reboot of Harry Potter. In 10 years, there will be a reboot of Harry Potter.
In 10 years.
They'll
before
just start
2030.
over.
They'll just start over.
Okay.
Calling it now.
You guys heard it here first. And when he calls it, everyone owes him $30. So...
Everyone in the world? Cool.
Yep. It adds up. So, Kevin Hart is going to star in a Monopoly movie.
I can see it.
And when I say Monopoly, I mean the board game Monopoly.
Yeah.
The game from Hasbro, Monopoly.
It's Kevin Hart, it might be good.
Yeah, so he's going to be starring as the Hat. And no, so it's going to be directed by the guy who directed Ride Along.
Okay.
So it appears the off-and-on Monopoly project is once again firmly on. The Wrap, which is a weird way to phrase that, the Wrap reports that Lionsgate and Hasbro are moving forward with their movie adaptation and have signed Kevin Hart to lead up the cast. Ride-along director Tim Story will take on directing duties as well as producing. Other details of the project are being kept under wraps for the time being. So I have a question for you, though, off the back of this. What do you think can/will be the plot of Monopoly?
It's either going to be like a Wolf of Wall Street thing where it's about a guy trying to make a monopoly, or it's going to be really just a board adaptation where he like gets transformed into a small board.
So Monopoly. Kevin Hart plays the game board, not any of the pieces, or he's just a face flattened out going. Ah!
No, he gets transformed into a piece playing the game, and he'll die if he doesn't win.
Okay, yeah, so there's death at stake in this like Monopoly game?
Literally Jumanji.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm wondering is, like, do they have to go old school Jumanji with it, and, they've got to move pieces and do stuff? Like, what... I'm so confused about what the plot could be
in
a Monopoly movie that's not just the easy, like, he's dropped onto a board and now he's got to dodge giant pieces,
Not dodge giant pieces, but, play the game. Jumanji, just like the OG.
Maybe he has kids in the movie.
Okay.
And his kids are playing Monopoly.
Okay.
And he says something to the effect of, you can't have a Monopoly. Monopolies are evil. And then the Monopoly board game gets mad at him and shrinks him down. And then he has to be really tiny.
Okay.
And the Monopoly board game has showed him something about how his daughter maybe has self-esteem issues, and the way to get over those is to become someone with a Monopoly in the board game Monopoly. And then he has to, like, sit on her shoulder.
I'm gonna have to stop you there.
And tell her how to play the game.
I'm gonna have to stop you there. No.
What else are you gonna do with this?
It's something that's not that. What are you even talking about?
Tiny Kevin Hart.
Get out. What's next?
Like really tiny Kevin Hart.
I don't care about Monopoly news.
Well, speaking of board games, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle has a sequel coming up, and they have cast Donnie Glover.
Donnie Glover.
Apparently, he was not too old for this.
Who's Donnie Glover?
Donnie Glover is from Lethal Weapon. The guy who goes, I'm getting too old for this.
Oh, well, that makes sense about your joke.
Yes, yeah.
Good job.
Now that I've explained it, though, it's even funnier. So the Hollywood Reporter reports that Danny Glover is the latest star to join the cast of the third Jumanji film. Details about Glover's role were not revealed, which is par for the course with the film's previous editions. But Glover is best known for his role as Roger Murtagh in the 4 Lethal Weapon films, but some of his more recent credits are things like Sorry to Bother You and The Old Man and the Gun. Star and producer Dwayne Johnson shared his excitement, basically saying, from Awkwafina to Danny DeVito, who, by the way, joined the cast as well. I think we talked about Awkwafina, but I forgot to mention Danny DeVito one week. So
yeah. I gotcha.
That's my fault. But now one of my favorite action heroes, Danny Glover. It's been awesome having so many actors and OG legends raise their hands wanting to come and play in our Jumanji universe. Who turns into who will always be the fun magic sauce for our audiences.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the fun magic sauce.
That's not the fun magic sauce. And also, Danny DeVito can't do any action scenes, so I don't know what the heck they have planned for him.
I don't know. They got Jack Black to do some, so I think
I mean, Jack Black could actually somewhat run. Danny DeVito, I can't even see him getting up to pace.
Yeah, Danny DeVito will probably roll down a hill rather than run.
Like, Jack Black, he's in his 50s, 60s. He could run. Danny DeVito's like 80. And he's
That's true.
A midget.
He's very short. One might almost say he looks penguin-like.
Oh, wow.
Which is a hint of sizzle for later on in the show that you don't know about yet.
I mean, I could pretty much just figure it out from that.
No, you can't.
Okay. When it happens, I'm going to be like, yeah, I know.
Last piece of news, and then we're going to talk to chat.
All right, lay it on me.
So, also, I'm setting markers in that so I can delete stuff that doesn't need to be in there. Okay. So, Uncharted movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Sean Levy, who was previously attached to direct, has left the project.
No.
We were out without a director for a while, but according to Variety, Dan Trachtenberg, who was the director of 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is my favorite Cloverfield movie, he is set to direct the Uncharted movie and could start production sometime this year. So
cool.
Sony is yet to to set a firm filming start date when they try and figure out, because they're trying to figure out Holland's upcoming press tour and all this crazy stuff for Spider-Man. However, the plan is for Trachtenberg to roll camera with Holland starring before 2019 draws to a close.
Cool.
I'm excited about this. I'm not like the biggest Uncharted fan. I actually haven't played the games, but I know I know some of the story and stuff.
You'd be a big fan. You can't not like it.
I want to, but I don't have a PS4 or a PS3. So
Sucks to suck.
All I've got is Xbox stuff. I know. I hate Microsoft, and yet they're the console I have.
Only Xbox. So. Also, 10 Cloverfield Lane wasn't that good. Everyone will agree with me on this.
No, they won't, because I'm someone and I don't agree.
Okay.
All right, so now we're going to talk to chat for a little bit. Sorry, guys, we haven't been ignoring you. It's just, we're trying to figure out the right stuff.
I've been ignoring them.
Ace Platinum, thanks for joining us. I would love to talk with you guys a little bit. So, we're not going to poop on your childhood. I still like Transformers, even if Ian does not.
I like Transformers. It needs to have a strong antagonist. That's human.
Okay, you're right.
I know.
But the way the blue Transformer died in Bumblebee is awesome. And I stand by that.
The way it happened was awesome. Like how it happened, but not actually what happened.
No, what happened was awesome.
The chains were like, okay, whatever.
That was great.
Like the whole, you think these chains will...
All of those elements together worked really well.
I guess. Okay.
Why couldn't Jeremy be in Infinity War anyway? It was purely a story thing, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Chocolate Love.
He's useless because it's going to be explained in the second one.
He's not useless.
He's absolutely useless.
He is not.
What is he gonna do?
He encouraged Scarlet Witch through a TED Talk to go out and fight Ultron. So he's not useless. He's just
useless.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. I mean, you don't have a use for a bow and arrow in that whole thing. Ever. Like honestly, in no movies. If you look at the first Avengers, he even looks useless.
That's fair. I only defend Hawkeye because I like Jeremy Renner.
Okay, fair enough. But
I'll admit my bias there.
Oh, so Ace Platinum has some guesses on our ages and where we work.
Okay, cool. So the guy on the left is called Ethan. He's 16 and goes to school but works part-time at McDonald's. Spot on.
I like how here, because of this horrible camera and horrible lighting, for me, I look older than you. I'm not about this.
Well, I'm 16 and you've already said you're 17 on your podcast, so you are older than me.
I don't have a podcast. I'm still 16 until next week.
Your Twitch.
On my Twitch.
Fine, we're both 16.
Well, he thinks I'm Cameron and I work as a toilet cleaner. And I'm 18.
Well, that's fair. I mean, you work on the internet, so is that not just working in a
Cleaning
toilet all day?
Toilets? Wrong, unfortunately. I'm a full-time Twitch streamer.
You are. I'm really proud of you for doing that, man. Because I've just started, and this is stressful.
Oh, it's stressful. It's tough. Imagine doing it every day, 8 hours a day. Imagine, right now.
I am. Hold on. I'm thinking it through.
Yo, thanks, Chocolate Love. We got to make a command that says that.
That says what?
That we take breaks every once in a while to reach out.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
No, I'm not an ace made of platinum. Then why is your name Ace Platinum? Sorry, Seriously? That was really aggressive. My bad.
Why are you being so aggressive?
I don't know.
He's in here.
Danny DeVito's going to turn into the trash man. All right. Let's see. Hawkeye is like boring Green Arrow. Yeah, you're right. I like Green Arrow better.
Yeah, at least Green Arrow has powers.
Not the show.
But the hero.
But the hero Green Arrow. Especially in the animated Justice League series. I just love that series. That's the best DC thing that I can think of. That Justice League animated series.
Oh yeah,
that's the best DC media I've ever seen.
DC does so well animated.
Yeah.
IRL or live action.
Under the Red Hood is really good.
Not so good.
All the animated stuff I've seen has been
anything
top notch.
Static Shock.
But X-Men, Static Shock.
X-Men, the Teen X-Men, like the New Force, whatever.
X-Men is Marvel though.
Yeah. Is the Flash series
Wow, all right.
still up? Wait, X-Men's Marvel?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right about that.
you weren't here for a second.
I was reading chat.
That's fair.
Is the Flash series still up?
The Flash series is, I mean, it's still up on the internet. I don't know if that means it's up in quality. I don't like that series.
Is it on Netflix still?
I have no idea.
What are you? This is a podcast about TV shows, movies, and the news.
The TV thing is just because I need three things.
Oh my god.
And we talked about Disenchantment that one time.
Okay.
No, we do talk about TV shows sometimes, but The Flash is a gap in my knowledge for one reason. I hate it.
Okay.
That show is bad.
The Flash is.
It's bad.
I never watched it.
I can't stand any of those CW hero shows.
Wow.
I tried to watch Supergirl too, and just...
Supergirl, what?
Dude, it's terrible.
That's a thing?
It was on CBS first, and it launched on CBS, and then it went to CW, and it is like, just watch the show for a little bit and listen to the dialogue, and it's just all like, men are terrible and jerks, and it's like, I mean, you could prove that, but you just keep saying it.
Hey, whoa.
If they're gonna make broad generalizations, they should at least do it with some subtlety. That's all I'm saying.
True. Like a t-shirt.
Yeah, like a t-shirt that says men suck.
Do the things.
Let's see. Ace Platinum says, sorry, ma'am, my stream literally cut out right when you were about to reveal your name and ages and stuff.
We didn't reveal our names.
That wasn't the thing that was happening, so...
You'll never know my age or my name, but you can call me Mully. If you want. If you don't.
Yeah, it's not like our names are literally posted above our heads.
Did you post my name? Oh, yeah.
I posted your Twitter handle.
Yeah, I guess that works.
By the way, sorry about our cameras maybe being a little glitchy. That is something I'm going to work on as we go through. Eventually, I'm going to use, because I have really nice cameras, and I'm going to use the Cam Link thing. But I gotta get some money to do that. Yeah,
and also, good luck, dude. Because those cam links, they use up a lot of CPU.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm using about 23%.
Okay,
so I think I've got room.
You might be fine. Yeah. You might be fine.
Plus, I can really lower the bit rate on my C100.
Okay.
So I can crush that down a lot.
Nice.
Yeah. It's nice to have a cinema camera.
More like bully. That was terrible.
Yep.
I think we need to get back to the podcast. You guys are
all right, let's get back to things. Thanks, chat. We will be back with you, but first we have to get into some more news, and I have a surprise for everybody. Muli, you've seen these things.
I don't know if I have. Oh yeah, I've seen them.
They're gonna be fun, but let's get into it.
We'll see.
Okay, so now it is time for us to talk about everyone's second favorite segment on the show, which is a really big deal this week, because if you're not watching the live stream, you can't see this, but you can see it if you watch the live stream. Once I get my mouse to actually move
to find
over to the screen I want. Where is it? I'm wiggling it.
I can't find it.
It's not on any of my screens.
Well, might need to make another marker.
All right.
Or turn your mouse on.
Well, it was on. I'm cycling it.
Okay.
Wow. The sarcasm coming from the other side of the table.
You know.
I really have no idea where my mouse is.
Use a Mac. They're great. You ever heard of Mac? You'll never lose your mouse on Mac.
I never said that. I've never made that claim. Seriously, where is my mouse?
I don't freaking know, dude. Oh, I saw it for a second.
Oh, it's back. It's on the screen. Okay, here we go. So now it's time to talk about everyone's second favorite segment on this show. Once I hit this button, we shall see that it is, in fact, Ryan Johnson Explains, and it's not showing. This has gone super well.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know where it is.
All they see is a black screen. Hurry up and go back.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, sorry guys. I don't know what happened. Where is it?
Oh no.
It may have disconnected from the hard drive earlier.
You have it on a separate hard drive?
I have it on there because that's where it was earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. So we may try this again. Because now it's the hard drive's connected.
I couldn't tell you. You have it set up as a video? Mm-hmm. Or media?
Yep.
And then stop showing once media's done?
Yep.
All right. Now let's try one more time.
All right. Everybody ready?
All right, here we go. You might want to set a marker for this, by the way.
I've got a marker set for when we went to Ryan Johnson Explains.
Okay.
So I'll figure it out. All right, here we go. And Rian Johnson explains. That's the thing I made.
Hold on, let me get a little.
It's so dumb, but I love it.
No, it's nice.
All right, so let's talk. Yeah, nice segue. Thanks, people in chat. So Rian Johnson explains. It's there's not a lot of Star Wars news. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, Rian Johnson explains basically came about because there was a period in time after The Last Jedi came out that all the news for Star Wars was just headlines saying Rian Johnson explains whatever random part of the movie.
Yeah.
So,
explains this, explains that, explains all of that.
All of the things.
Yeah.
Why you hate this movie? Rian Johnson explains it.
Rian Johnson, why?
So that's why all of our Star Wars news is called Rian Johnson Explains. But speaking with Deadline, as he continues to garner awards buzz for his role in Spike Lee's BlacKkKlansman, Adam Driver, who plays Kylo Ren, spoke briefly about Star Wars and teased at a Kylo Ren endgame that's been in place for years. Basically, this is what he said. Quote, with Star Wars, I had one piece of information of where it was all going, and that's where it's been in my head for a long time. And things were building towards that. It feels very theatrical, if anything, because in the plays that I've done, a 6-month run, on the very last day, you finally feel like, oh, now I have a better understanding of what it is that I want to do. I wish we could do this all over again. Working on a play, the questions you can ask yourself are infinite. Sorry, I was trying not to burp. And that's what's torturous about film sometimes. You only have one shot to get it right. And you can do a lot of takes, but you're not all going to get back together again and do this. But for something you're doing for 6 years, you still have a chance to go back and make something a little bit more articulated.
Yeah.
So he's right. I've done theater, I've done film, and theater is interesting because by the 30th performance, you're just like, wait, okay, this thing will really work if I do it.
If I do this, you can adapt.
Yes, so you get some really interesting leeway there with your performance, but with film, it's like, yeah, you do 7 takes, but they're all back to back, so it's how much will it really change unless the director goes, we got to go a completely different direction.
Completely different.
Although I will say, with Adam Driver, there is a chance that he may get to redo some stuff in Star Wars if that remake, The Last Jedi fund ever gets going.
Yeah.
so
we
there's
will
hope
literally raise the money for you to make it again.
Gosh,
that's
man.
Funny.
What a dumb thing.
Did you donate to it?
No. Yes. So that brings us to the end of everyone's second favorite okay, so let's talk theories for a second.
Okay.
Just for a second. Because
you doing theories? Crazy.
Not the what?
All right, lay it on me.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Okay.
There was a time where we were not going to have Rian Johnson on a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It was J.J. Abrams, and then it was going to be Colin Trevorrow, who was the director of Jurassic World.
Yeah.
And then it was going to be someone else after that. There was talk about it. J.J. Abrams was like, I don't know if I'll come back or not. But what's happened is Colin Trevorrow got dropped out, or got fired, basically.
Yeah.
Because he made a movie called Book of Henry that bombed really terribly, and I guess the people over at Lucasfilm got cold feet. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a Twitter scandal or anything like that. It was just, we didn't like that movie, so goodbye.
Rip.
Yeah. And so basically after that, Rian Johnson got hired, and then J.J. Abrams was like, yep, I'm coming back for the last one. So the question is, because apparently Rian Johnson didn't use any of the script that was written by J.J. Abrams for Episode 7. He just scrapped it and went a completely different direction. So now the question is Kylo Ren going in the same direction that he was previously?
He just needs to die at the beginning of the movie.
I don't know about that. I want a satisfying end at the back end of the movie. A satisfying death at the end.
Then kill Ren, or whatever her name is.
Ray?
Sorry. She gained 20 pounds. I forgot her name.
Oh my gosh.
That was so wrong. I'm sorry. Ray's such a cutie.
These jokes do not represent the views of Solar Flight Productions or Grand Avenue Theater.
Just me.
Just Ian. It's just Ian. You see it up there on the screen. There. I think that showed up. I'm going to pick your nose. Here we go.
Thanks.
Visual comedy. It's great. Comedy. That's how it came out. But yeah, so there's the question of how much of that original plan is still in place. Mm-hmm. Is that piece of information that he's had in his head for a couple of years still valid? Is that a thing that's going to be continued on in this next one, or have they had to go a different direction because Rian Johnson took the studio and was like, I got this, and careened them off a bridge? So who knows?
Maybe it'll go farther off of a bridge.
It's quite possible. I mean, if we're being honest,
J.J. Abrams was just like, let's just take it back to the beginning.
Let's do something completely the same as the last time.
Hey, we'll see.
That was a joke about how the Force Awakens is just a repeat of the New Hope.
I got you. Yo, what's up, King Dilf? That's a funny name.
So, all right, I'm just re-adding our next little intro card here, just for safety. So. All right. That brings us to the end of Rian Johnson Explains, which means it's now time for everyone's favorite segment on this show. It's time for What the Heck is Going On at DC?
Okay.
So
that worked really well.
It worked this time because I knew I had to re-add the file when I opened OBS.
Yeah.
So, if you're confused about what I'm saying, watch the live stream. You'll know all of the things we're talking about. There's a visual component to this show now, and it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's dumb, but it's fun. So, all right, so let's talk about DC. There's quite a bit of DC news. So Shazam. First off, a new sneak peek trailer thing, about a minute long, dropped yesterday, I think.
For Shazam?
And it was pretty good.
Really?
I'm excited for Shazam, man. I love Zachary Levi, which is part of why. Yeah. But I think that the movie looks like it's actually a fun superhero romp. Yeah. And without the kind of self-aggrandization that was present in Aquaman, it's like, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, so there was a report that apparently each Shazam suit cost $1 million to make, and that's not true. So the film budget is only $80 to $90 million, which is pretty. It's kind of low for
low for a superhero movie.
Yeah. So the Hollywood Reporter reports that the budget for Shazam is somewhere between 80 and 90 million, making it easily the smallest budget for a DCEU film. The outlet shared this information in light of a recent report that stated the costume budget alone for Shazam was $10 million. Costume designer Leah Butler told Total Film that they created 10 Shazam costumes that cost around $1 million to make. However, the Hollywood Reporter says that the entire suit budget was just $600,000 to $700,000. Prior to this report, David Sandberg, the director, David F. Sandberg, I believe it is, responded to the suit cost online, but simply revealed he did not know what the actual budget was and wouldn't be surprised if the $10 million price tag was correct.
Was right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, basically what he said on his thing, I'm paraphrasing a little bit because I didn't copy it down. Sorry, everybody. Yeah. But basically, he said, we had to make a bunch of suits throughout because, you have to do tests on a bunch of excuse me, something in my throat.
Stop eating Pop-Tarts before a stream.
It was a bad idea.
What's wrong with you?
Oh, the list is long. But there was there was a lot of iterations of the suit before they started filming, and then when they started filming, they had to kind of redesign the way that the chest lights up a couple of times. Yeah. Because the wiring in the suit was pretty thin, so it wouldn't show, but it would break while they were doing these action scenes and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, I see.
So they had to, kind of keep doing different designs and stuff. And it's possible that, the Total Film may have quoted costume designer Leah Butler saying that each costume cost around $1 million to make, but instead what she meant was that it was about $1 million to make all of them. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in any case, why does this matter?
It doesn't.
Why are we talking about this?
I asked that about literally everything that's trending on Twitter.
That's a good question. Twitter is a cesspool of things I hate. Anyway, go vote on our Twitter poll for this week's movie at RollSoundPod. Let us know if you thought it was good, bad, great, or terrible. Unless it's closed. It might have closed by now.
Yeah, it's closed.
All right, Warner Brothers chairman. Apparently DC thinks it's more focused on directors than the Marvel shared universe.
It thinks it's more focused on directors?
Yes.
Well, Marvel just kind of shares all the same directors, doesn't it?
No, because, I mean, you've got...
Or, they pick one and they just stick with it?
Not for all the movies, no. You've got different directors on different franchises. Okay. I mean, you've got Taika Waititi on Thor Ragnarok. Then you've got Joe and Anthony Russo, who did 2 Captain Americas and then Infinity War and Endgame. But you've got, Kenneth Branagh, I think it was, directed Thor, the first one.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different directors that work,
okay.
but I think like what they're saying basically is that all the MCU films kind of look the same.
Yeah.
Because Marvel has like, you know, these are things you have to adhere to and all that. And so yeah, it's maybe. So this is what he said. This is Toby Emmerich, who's the Warner Brothers chairman, who was named chairman of Warner Brothers as a result of the shakeups that happened last year.
Yeah.
When everyone was like, Justice League sucked, you got to go, and they fired everybody.
Yeah.
And he was speaking with the Hollywood Reporter about the studio's outlook and plans for their superhero properties. He was asked what the success of Aquaman has showed them, and basically what he said was, quote, "We all feel like we've turned a corner now. We're playing by the DC playbook, which is very different from the Marvel playbook. We are far less focused on a shared universe. We take it one movie at a time. Each movie is its own equation and own creative entity. If you had to say one thing about us, it's that it always has to be about the directors."
Yeah.
And I think there's merit to this. I don't think this is marketing speak or anything like that. I think like this seems like a genuine revelation of, oh, yeah, we should probably let our directors direct their movies.
Yeah, right. Hey, you have to make sure this one matches with that one that happened 10 years ago.
It's
right?
got to have the same color scheme, and you can't use anything new and special.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, look, Aquaman, it's not a movie for me. Like, I think I still gave it a good, didn't I?
Yeah, you still gave it a good.
So I still gave it a good. I understand why people are entertained by it. It's just not a movie that I really had as much fun with as I wish I had.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, coming off the high of Bumblebee on that double feature, hard to live up to, let me tell you. I'm kidding.
I think that made Aquaman better for me, honestly.
Yeah, that you got total schlock shoved into your eyeballs before more total schlock?
Hey,
I believe that's Yiddish for crap.
Call it what you want. I'm gonna call it what it is.
Aquaman
sucked. Aquaman was decent.
Yeah.
But also, I'm a big fan of 1v1 ritual combat.
Yeah.
Just like Black Panther.
Look, that was cool, but the problem with that scene is that all the people, like, if you watch, they go up on the top of the statue and are fighting, and then the next time that people cheer, they're looking down into the stadium where these two guys are not anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
And you would think like they would use some of their like Atlantis hologram technology to like, you know, show them big in front of everybody.
Maybe they did.
No, you can look at it. There's no holograms. It's just two guys fighting in the middle of some silt.
Their holograms are actually built into their eyes now.
Oh, iPhones.
Holograms. They're way past iPhones.
You're right.
It's Atlantis we're talking about.
Plus, if you try to talk to anyone on those holograms or phones or anything like that, halfway through a conversation, something will blow up. So there's no reason to call anybody.
What the heck?
Every conversation in that movie ends with explosion.
I can attest to that.
Explosion, fight scene. That's how we end a conversation. It's like when you're trying to get off the phone with somebody and you're like, all right, well, I'll talk to you later. Yeah, okay, I hope you have a good day. Yeah, you too, man. I hope you have a good weekend. Yeah, man, have fun. And you're just like, I don't know how to get out of this loop. Just blow up your phone.
Just blow up your phone.
That happened to me yesterday.
You blew up your phone?
No, I couldn't get off a phone conversation. But it was always my fault that it restarted.
What's wrong with you?
I'm very chatty. That's why I do a podcast.
I guess.
All right. So, Batman and Superman, apparently in test screenings, they were ranked the worst in Justice League. Are you surprised by this?
No. I mean, I would put Flash down there, but that's just me.
Yeah, but Flash was like, at least he was supposed to be a doofus.
Yeah, I guess.
Batman's not supposed to be Jim Carrey. Not that he was, but for Batman, that was Jim Carrey-like levels of comedy.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, I landed on my back.
Thank God I have my CGI tattoo removal done. Have you seen Ben Affleck's back tattoo?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
What can you do?
I mean, CGI it out, apparently. So,
yeah.
So Justice League was supposed to be the movie that cemented the DCEU once and for all, but of all the current DC Cinematic Universe films, this is the one they're trying to separate themselves from the most. It was definitely the biggest upset since Batman vs. Superman, which I still think is an alright movie if you watch the extended version.
Was trash.
The extended version makes sense. I never watched the original version, so that's probably why I don't have as much hate for it.
I couldn't make it through anything extended past 5 minutes of that movie. So I don't know how you got to the extended version, my dude.
Well, I was also working on something while I watched it.
While you watched it, I guess, man. Because you really gotta like not be paying attention to watch that movie.
Yeah, it was noise in the background.
I tried like 5 times.
I mean, Lex Luthor is the worst part of anything I've ever watched.
And I love that actor, too.
He's good, but he's not Lex Luthor. Jolly Rancher?
I don't know, man.
I hate it. Yeah.
Hey, man, you said it was good in the extended version, so maybe he becomes a better Lex Luthor with the extra 20 minutes.
It's an all right movie in spite of that whole thing.
Okay.
Because Zack Snyder, for all of his narrative failings, does do visuals really well.
Okay.
I would love to see him work with someone who understands story. So, all right. So, but yeah, basically, there was a interview on the Fire and Water podcast with Neil Daly, who ran test screenings for Justice League, and none of this is really surprising. Also, the reason this is in here is because I want to talk about test screenings for a second. But he said when we did our test screenings, one of the questions on the surveys we asked various sample audiences were to rank the characters in the film. Wonder Woman stood at the top. Aquaman and Flash were roughly neck and neck down the stretch, and it was more Flash because of his comic relief, his geeky comic relief type of thing. Yeah. But women and men alike liked Aquaman. They liked Jason Momoa. He had the universal appeal that both men and women as being a marketable commodity, and Batman and Superman fell way at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
So, not surprising because they got both of those characters completely wrong and everyone hated that.
True.
It wasn't because they don't like Henry Cavill and well, they might dislike Ben Affleck, but
yeah.
But it's really about the characterization. But the thing I wanted to talk about is I just listened to an audiobook of it's by a director, Sidney Lumet, who did the original Murder on the Orient Express. He did A Long Day's Journey into Night, Dog Day Afternoon, which is the one where Al Pacino is robbing a bank to get money for his lover to get a transition surgery or something. I don't know. I haven't seen that one. But Sidney Lumet, I listened to the whole book. It was incredibly fascinating. If you want to learn kind of the basics of how it, what the movie industry is like, it's in there.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting book, and the audiobook that's on Audible, not that we're sponsored by them or anything, but it's well read, so it's fun to listen to.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I was listening to that, and he was talking about test screenings, and Sidney Lumet was talking about how much he hates them because they have no bearing on like a movie's actual box office success. Mm-hmm. It has no bearing on like even every test screening they do. The pad that gets sent back to producers says on there, these surveys cannot predict box office numbers. These surveys cannot predict what actual general audiences will feel. Basically, it just says all of this is kind of just whatever.
Yeah. And
the producers use it as some sort of Bible to go off of when making changes to a film in post-production. And which is, I think, that's exactly what happened with Justice League.
Okay.
Because they've done all these test screenings of all the movies previous, and they've tried to learn from those mistakes.
Yeah.
And I put air quotes on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Mistakes.
Uh-huh.
No, but then they did test screenings on Justice League, and like, okay, people don't like this part of this and this part of this, so cut all that stuff out, get it down to exactly 2 hours, and send it out the door. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of what butchered the movie, aside from the reshoots where Joss Whedon was just like, bleh.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I don't like test screenings. I don't think they actually provide that much of a service, especially if everything comes with a disclaimer of, we don't know.
Yeah. Maybe. We asked 5 women between the ages of 5 and 69.
What'd you ask them?
Do you like Henry Cavill?
And what were the answers you got?
No.
Really? All of them said no?
Literally all of them.
Wow.
But don't listen to this.
Those 5 women were all directly related to me. So Zack Snyder, apparently he helped the Aquaman director undo Joss Whedon's Justice League changes. So Zack Snyder's not happy with Justice League, which has not been hidden at all. But Neil Daly, I believe. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, Neil Daly was talking in the same interview with Fire and Water podcast, and basically he revealed that Whedon was behind a lot of Justice League's teenage boy sexual humor, is what he said. This includes gag like Aquaman hitting on Wonder Woman while under the influence of the lasso of truth. James Wan didn't want this approach in Aquaman. So Neil Daly explained, he said, quote, "We could have gotten a movie about Aquaman basically fawning over Mira the whole time and making all kinds of dirty jokes and things like that, and they really had to get away from that, which is all what Whedon had done. So Snyder had a little bit more of influence on Aquaman. James Wan was showing Zack Snyder, against the studio's wishes, cuts of the movie and early test screenings and storyboards to make sure that they're on the same page with what he originally wanted, and Snyder gave his blessings of approval, bringing it back to what he wanted all along."
Yeah.
So Zack Snyder didn't step away because he was fired or anything like that. He stepped away because of family issues and stuff like that. But it is interesting to know that James Wan was basically taking footage that he wasn't supposed to and going to Zack Snyder and going, "What do you think?"
Yeah. What do you think about this?
It's incredibly fascinating to me that he didn't get fired.
Yeah,
because studios will just go, "You know what, you're out." Although James Wan is really successful, so he has a little bit of pull.
Yeah.
But the fact that Zack Snyder is still, like, if that's what Zack Snyder wanted to get to, then I'm more on board than I was before. Because
still not on board.
Although Aquaman is not a thing that I like all that much, it's leagues better than Leagues of the Sea. Leagues better than other stuff that's come before in the DCEU.
Like what?
Aquaman? It's way better than Justice League, for one. It's better than Batman v Superman.
Hold on. I thought you said Justice League was better than other stuff.
No. So Aquaman is better because James Wan was working with Zack Snyder on making sure that he was fulfilling Zack Snyder's vision.
Yes, I agree. I thought you said Justice League was better than other stuff.
Oh, yeah, best movie, 10 out of 10.
Better than what?
Best movie of all time.
Then what? Okay, I'm down.
Well, it's better than Wrinkle in Time. I'll give it that.
Is that a DC movie?
Wrinkle in Time? No, it's just a bad movie. I ruined my childhood.
What the heck is going on at...
Oh, you want to know what the heck's going on at DC?
Yeah, what else is going on?
So, DC's New Gods movie, the villains have apparently been revealed. So this is a movie directed by...
James Gunn.
No, this is a movie directed by... I forgot her name. Ava DuVernay, who directed A Wrinkle in Time, which is the worst movie of last year. But she also directed Selma, which apparently is very good. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's good.
So, anyway.
You haven't seen anything good, honestly.
That's not true. I saw Monster Trucks.
You see the trailer for the new John Wick?
I did. I need to see the first two now.
You don't even know what's going on, do you?
I watched it. I was like, what the heck is going on? I have to see the first two.
You haven't even seen any other freaking John Wicks, dude.
That trailer has convinced me to go watch John Wick 1 and 2.
What? It's been like 7 years, dude. I dropped my phone. Every trailer should have made you want to go watch a John Wick movie.
I hadn't seen the other trailers. All I know about John Wick is that they paid like $1 million to put a fake poo in the grass. And it doesn't look good.
What's wrong?
It's not $1 million. It was a lot of money, though, to pay for a CGI poo-poo for a dog.
What's wrong with you?
They could have put a fake poo in the yard.
It was post-processing or whatever. What's the word?
Post-production?
Yeah, post-production.
Yeah, but they could have, while they were in production, put a fake poo in the yard.
If you watch the movie, things make sense.
Do you see the poo come out of the dog?
I don't know.
No, I've seen the clip. They just cut to it. The fake poo could have been just placed there. That's all I'm saying.
That has literally 0% to do with, well, a little bit. It just shows how much he loves this dog. It's a good scene.
Yeah, him watching his dog poop. What
no,
love?
His dog. Never mind. I'm not spoiling anything for you.
I know what happens. I know what happens to the dog. Everyone talked about it online, but I will watch those movies. I promise. I swear. No fingers crossed. Nothing. I will watch the John Wick movies. Why are you shaking your head? I thought this would make you happy.
I watched the John Wick 3 trailer and it got me excited to watch the first.
It did because I was like, this looks great. I'm gonna go watch them.
Whatever.
Everyone look. I when people freak out about a movie, I don't want to see it normally. I'm just like, that is okay. Because it's not going to live up to those expectations. We've talked about this a lot, how expectations set your kind of barometer for enjoying a movie. And when people freak out about a movie, I'm just like, eh. Because people also freaked out about Justice League. So. Some people. Not smart people, but some people.
Okay. That's fair enough. I got that.
So
there was a lot of hype around John Wick. It took me a while to watch it too.
Yeah. So now I have my own excitement, and I think that's a good thing to go in. It's not like it was those clips and a little bit of the understanding of like the training that Keanu Reeves has done to make those
Keanu
movies
Reeves,
as good as they apparently are. Like, okay, I'm excited on my own now, not because the internet told me to.
You'll see it. You'll see it.
I'm excited to watch them. I will. All right, back to DC's New Gods movie. So the GWW, which I forget what it is, Geek Watch Weekly, maybe something like that, reports that Granny Goodness and the Female Furies will be the villains of the New Gods if current plans stick. So this news arrives at a point where the New Gods is in the early stages of development, so it's still possible the plans could change as the movie evolves into production. But if it is true, they will square off with Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, the reported leads of the film.
Okay.
I don't know that much about the New Gods. Granny Goodness did show up in the Justice League cartoon, though, so I have come across her character before.
Okay.
I really don't watch or read DC Comics.
Yeah,
but,
so this is about villains fighting other villains?
No, the New Gods are... They are heroes.
Okay.
But I think that... so Mr. Miracle and Big Barda are the two of the New Gods.
Okay.
So Granny Goodness, for those of you who don't know, if you're interested in this, she was created by Jack Kirby back in 1971 when she appeared in Mr. Miracle number 2. She was ripped from her family at a young age and trained to be one of Darkseid's elite soldiers, basically like Gamora, an area where she excelled and was soon tasked to find, raise, and train Darkseid's army. So basically she's in charge of, everyone gets sent to in the cartoon at least, everyone gets sent to this planet and Granny Goodness is like, you will become Darkseid's people. Yeah. And then she runs them through a gauntlet and shocks them if they try to get away. Because in cartoons, that's the worst thing you can do to someone. You can't like cut off a finger or something, so they have a collar on you, and then they're like, ah, and then they can't get away.
Fair enough. Which,
fun story. When I was in high school, my friend had a dog and they had an electric fence.
Oh my gosh.
So we would put on the collar and like hold it on our bodies somewhere and run past the fence and see how far we could get before we had to turn around and come back. It was not fun, but we were dumb. I was a teenager once.
Just gonna shake my head at you.
I still am. In some ways.
I was a teenager once. I never did anything that dumb.
I don't know. You were talking about going to raves last night. I think that's a little bit dumber because you could have been roofied. You could have been roofied. I was going to say it until you cracked a smile. So, all right. But this included Mr. Miracle, who would escape from her clutches. Goodness is also the leader of the Female Furies, a special all-female combat team that serves Darkseid. Big Barda is the former leader of the group, but she left them behind to become a member of a force for good and be with her love, Mr. Miracle. The comic story then saw Darkseid task the Furies with killing both Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, so that's probably kind of what we'll get. But that means they have to introduce Darkseid or like do a Thanos thing where we just see him like kind of from behind as Granny Goodness gets her orders.
Yeah, most likely. That means men are going to hit women in this movie. So there's a whole female antagonist thing.
DC. That's not PC.
Nope. It's 2019, guys.
Which means movies about hitting women
are not okay.
But they are because DC's doing it. Well, that's not going to come out in 2020 probably. So that'll be fine next year.
Time. Yeah. Totally different time.
Birds of Prey Cassandra Cain actress says that filming has begun. So
cool.
The actress playing Cassandra Cain, that's not the actress's name. So, taking to our official Twitter account, the actress basically confirmed principal photography has already started for Birds of Prey, which is big news. I didn't know that had started. So, she didn't reveal anything plot-related in her social media post following the confirmation, but instead promoted her two younger siblings who appear in a new McDonald's commercial.
Cool.
So, that brings us to the end of everyone's favorite segment of this show. What the heck is going on at DC?
Now we know.
Yeah.
Also, she probably has some good-looking siblings then. You gotta be good-looking to be in a McDonald's commercial.
That's true. They only hire pretty people.
Really?
I tried to get hired because I thought I was a pretty accurate representation of like a standard McDonald's customer. A little tubby, but not super fat.
No. But they only hire fit people. You gotta be fit, young, no acne, looking good.
Yeah.
I don't even see people with glasses on those commercials. It's like
that's what it was. I would be beautiful if I didn't have these.
Darn you. I thought you just got those recently.
I did, but the audition was recent. I'm just kidding. This never happened.
Okay. Well, hey, I almost believed you.
Well, acting. 11 years.
There you go.
This is the moment it's all been leading up to. All right, let's turn to chat for a little bit. What do you think? You down with chat?
Let's do it. Yo, chat, y'all here? Wake up.
Just got to sub market. All right, so the Chris Hop is here. Hey, Chris. Chris is a friend of mine.
I saw his short film.
You did.
Pandora's Box.
I was in that. Does it make you feel more comfortable as an actor, seeing how terribly I butchered every line?
Yes. Kidding. No, it was good.
It hurt, but it was earned.
What? No, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, good job on that, Chris.
Katie's a natural.
I know. I can't believe she doesn't act more. Mostly because she has a regular job. Oh, I've accidentally played the What the Heck is Going On at DC.
Wow.
That's our end card now.
Yeah, woo, DC.
So.
Someone say my name, Yo Chocolate Love.
All right. Hold on. I think I can make it even cooler.
I was going for sexy.
I'll go even sexier.
Okay.
Chocolate Love. How was that?
That's Chocolate Love. Yo, LaBelle 32, what's up? Critics ruin JL about bashing so hard on BBS. The course correction was too hard, too fast.
I think I would agree with that.
I didn't understand any of that.
So basically, what Chris is saying is that the Chris Hopper is that Justice League was ruined because Batman vs Superman was bashed really hard by critics, and so the studio stepped in to try and make it something that the critics would like.
Oh yeah,
which ruined it.
Batman make those two in the Justice League movie more likable.
Yes.
Okay, I get that.
And yeah, it was an overcorrection, and that's something that we saw a lot with reviews of Justice League. Is just like they're trying too hard.
Oh yeah.
Especially with Justice League and with the what is that movie that has the Suicide Squad? Suicide Squad. I had to work through it. But Suicide Squad was also kind of a course correction because they had a movie that was directed and on its way out, and then they were like, nope, recut it because people like the trailer so much to make it more like the trailer. And so that just wrecked the movie. You can tell when you watch it. You're just like, these are two different movies that have been
blopped together.
Yes. Two turds squished into one mega
funny.
turd.
It's like you like the characters who had the least amount of lines in those movies.
One of my favorite characters was Slipknot. He got his head blown off early, so he couldn't be annoying.
Really? Waiting on the new How to Train Your Dragon movie.
I've heard it's good. I've heard good things about that. There were some early reviews and stuff that kind of leaked out. People are like, yeah, it's really enjoyable.
Okay. How to Train Your Dragon.
I am really excited about How to Train Your Dragon.
Did you like the second one?
I did.
I enjoyed the second one, but it was missing the love story.
Yeah, it wasn't. I think maybe we'll get a little bit more of that in this third one.
Yeah, with the white dragon.
Yeah, but
the White Knight Fury. Because
they keep highlighting that aspect, but I think there'll probably be something finally between him and Astrid as well. As they grow up, because here's my prediction, is that the movie is going to end with Toothless and the Light Fury, whatever it is, going out on their own. Yeah. And Astrid and Thumbtack, whatever his name is, I forgot his name. With Astrid and Thumbtack, just going off on their own, their adventure, just themselves without the dragons.
Maybe.
Or at the very least, they'll all be together at the end.
They'll all be together at the end.
Probably, yeah. But I would like to see them go their separate ways because the dragons just are like, you know what? We're going to go off and create our own society.
They already have their own society.
But a society where humans can't find them on a different planet.
And that's where the dragons went.
Exactly. That's why there are no dragons now. They're on Jupiter.
That was actually terrible. Whatever. Yo, creepy boss.
Hiccup. Yes, Hiccup is... Why did I say Thumbtack?
Thumbtack. Yes, it's Hiccup.
Yep.
You shouldn't have corrected him.
His name is Stepstool.
That's actually funny.
No, though, I really... Those movies look good. They feel like, the adventure stories, you get a lot out of that.
Yeah.
The only thing is they always ruin the big reveals in the trailers.
Yeah.
Keeping the Light Fury a secret would have been really cool if we got in the movie like, what?
Whoa,
You
there's
know,
a light fury. That's a girl.
And then in the second one, they were just like, it's your mom. I was like, this is a trailer.
Oh.
Yeah. But in any case, I am excited for that movie. I think it's going to be good.
I didn't like the second one, so.
It's coming soon. I liked the big dragons.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with the action scenes.
Yeah, me too. The first one was just so beautiful. And so the second one was a little of a letdown because I didn't get the feels.
First one's definitely the best.
Yeah. So I hope I can get more of the first with the third. Similar to, what was that movie I liked that no one else liked? With the acapella...
Pitch Perfect?
Pitch Perfect, yeah. Pitch Perfect 1 and 3 were really good. So hopefully...
Look, I haven't seen the first one, so I can't cast judgment on that one. Or the second one, although I've heard it's not good.
The second one's bad.
The third one is just an excuse for songs. It's not a movie. It's a playlist.
It's acapella.
It's a playlist.
Do you know how hard acapella is?
I understand that, but the movie itself has no plot.
It's about these girls,
okay,
who are trying to find their way in the world. It's like think of it like a sports movie, but after college, you don't go pro, and now you have to live in the real world. That's what it is. And these girls are just so lost without
the real world
acapella.
where Fat Amy's dad kidnaps them on a boat and then they blow it up. The real world.
He's a bad guy.
That's a dumb movie.
He's a bad guy. That's not the plot. That's just a side story. The story is about
That's the
girls.
finale of the whole movie.
That's not the finale. The finale is the girls, showing support for their one friend that does make it.
No, that's a wrap up. That's not like that's
a finale.
No,
brother.
a finale is the big thing that happens at the end. That is just kind of like tying up loose ends. Because after that, they're just like, yeah, we sang again, and then the credits rolled. I'm
What's
just
wrong with
saying,
you?
man.
What's wrong with you, huh?
I mean, do you want a list?
Yeah,
Okay,
list
so
it out.
1, I haven't had a haircut in a while.
Okay.
2,
which isn't a bad thing.
It's getting a little like just it's kind of raggedy on the sides.
Yeah,
2, I can't think of things in list format. 3,
I'm done with this list.
All right, so I guess that means we should probably move on to our next little segment of stuff here.
Toothless, silly mating dance. Yeah, true that.
Yeah, okay, so it was fun to see that in the trailer, but again, seeing that in the moment as well, like I understand the need for trailers. I get excited for them and all that stuff, but I do wish I could watch more movies without ever seeing the trailer. Because all of those moments being like in the context,
you almost wait for them
and being surprises.
Yeah,
like that's just more fun to experience a movie like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I don't know. All right, back to our regularly scheduled
podcast.
Yeah. It's time to thank our sponsor.
Sponsor.
Thanking.
Yeah.
Yep. So thanks to Grand Avenue Theater for sponsoring this podcast. Thank you so much. If you haven't heard about them, basically, clean, courteous, classy is their motto, and they definitely live up to it. All of the seats that I've ever sat in there have been clean.
Yes.
I have never gotten up and touched the floor and gone... as
Not
I
yet.
Stepped away.
It's been a year.
It's been a year.
Yeah. One of these days they'll forget.
I don't think so.
Maybe not.
They clean in between every showing.
Oh, yeah, so maybe
And they
won't.
bring in the mops and all that stuff. Like, they check, and if there's a spot that needs mopping, it gets mopped.
I hated those noises.
They're pretty great. And by great, I mean horrible, and I'm sorry. So, yeah, they are always courteous. It's really nice to go in there, and people, like, you can hand your buzzer to someone when you order food from the full-service kitchen, which is great. And you can just ask, can you bring this to my seat? Give them your ticket stub with the buzzer. They'll bring it into you. You don't even have to get up and leave your movie. Super nice people there. They remember our names for sure because we're there all the time.
That is true.
And also, we say them on the screen, so if you want to see an ad for our podcast, it's up there.
Yeah, that's right.
We should make a new one of those.
I mean, it's fine.
It is, but I just wanted... it's been 2 months, so I'm just like...
2 months?
Yeah. We should probably put a new one up. It might have been 3, honestly. I have no idea.
I don't care.
In any case, this isn't an ad for us. It's an ad for
Grand Avenue Theater.
Which is classy.
And courteous.
Yes, but I was on to the third point now.
Oh, sorry.
Clean, courteous, classy.
Yeah.
Grand Avenue Theater. Also, all the seats are reserved.
Yep.
So you never have to worry about where you're going to sit, which is great.
Where can you order 'em?
Also, ice cream. It's Bluebell. It's not the crap ice cream.
It is.
And yeah, the food is really good. Like I'm working on convincing them to do a 10-piece chicken
They're not
nugget.
gonna do it. I asked them.
Because I will get my way.
Good luck.
One way or another. Look, if you I'm serious. If you are old enough to remember what McDonald's chicken nuggets tasted like when we were kids, like 20 years ago, they taste different now. And back in the day, they tasted way better. And so I'm fixing my hair while I'm doing this. But but back in the day, they tasted way better. And these chicken nuggets taste like they did at McDonald's 20 years ago. They're freaking-tastic.
Yeah. You were eating chicken nuggets 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Shame on your parents.
Shame on my parents for feeding me? Yeah. What terrible people. Actually,
chicken nuggets.
It might have something to do with my slight obesity. All right. So
I'm sorry. No shame on your parents. But still, don't feed your children freaking McDonald's. Don't do it.
It was different back then. It was food.
Barely.
Not anymore, for sure. But yeah, at that point, it still passed.
Yeah, barely.
All right. Well, you can get your tickets online at www.grandavenuetheater.com.
Yep.
And you should do that.
Mm-hmm.
End of sponsor segment.
End of sponsor segment. So now I can say this. Did you see the new pre-movie thing with the kid?
The pre-movie thing with the kid. Okay, yeah, that's actually not new. So basically what, for people who haven't been to Grand Avenue, context, when they first opened, they created a bunch of kind of welcome to Grand Avenue Theater things.
Yeah.
That were, it was a kid, and he would do stuff like have a Iron Man heads-up display, and he would, like order popcorn off and stuff, cute little things like that. I don't know why they were playing that one this week. They haven't used that in quite a while.
Yeah, in years.
No, I think they used one last year for a movie I went to, but I don't know. I guess they just swap them out and do different things. But most of the time, it is still ours playing. So,
okay.
Yeah. So,
I was just happy not to see my face.
Yeah.
Because I was there with my family, and I was like, oh, no.
Oh, no. The 1 week you're there with your family?
Yeah.
Gummit. That makes me very sad.
I get text messages every other day. Hey, I saw you at Grand Avenue.
Do you really?
Theater. Yeah, I was like, oh, my gosh.
Would you do me a favor and just send me your parents' contact info?
No.
Unrelated.
Yeah, I wasn't with my parents. I was with my wife's family.
Ah, okay.
My
wife's. I can get info through her.
Good luck with that.
All right. So you want to talk about this week's movie?
Let's talk about the movie.
Okay. So as is the rule on the show, we're going to do spoiler-free review. So
yes.
If you want to hang out with us a little bit longer, we're going to tell you when we get into spoilers. Not you specifically. I'm looking at you, Mooley, but I'm
it's
talking
hard not to look at me when I'm sitting right across from you.
I can look at my own face on this camera since we're live streaming. Twitch.tv/RollSoundPod.
Woohoo.
And Mondays at 7 a.m. And so basically we're going to talk about it. We're going to give it a good, bad, great, or terrible rating depending on how we felt.
Yep.
This is not an unbiased show. We're just going to talk about how we felt about it. And I have a background in filmmaking, and that's where I'm coming from. And you have a background in gaming, so that's where you're coming from.
I just have a background in,
and we don't want to talk about it.
Understanding everything.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're super intelligent.
I don't know
that sounded way more sarcastic than I did.
It did. I'm a little...
Sorry,
flustered by that.
I just have a sarcastic tone of voice.
That's okay.
It's not really sarcasm. It just seems that way.
Whatever. What do you think about the movie?
All right. So no, you have to go first. So also we should probably tell them what movie it is. So this week we saw Glass.
Glass. What was your dad made out of? Or was your dad a... Oh, dang it.
What was my dad made out of?
What's the joke?
Normal human things. I don't know.
Oh. Don't stand in front of me. Your dad wasn't a glass maker. That's the joke I was going for.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, I know.
The one my dad always used was, hey, I can't see through muddy waters.
Oh.
Which doesn't make any sense because am I a water boy? I don't know.
Maybe.
But basically that was him telling me, get out of the way of the TV.
Yeah.
Also, disappear.
Mm-hmm.
For a little bit. Then we'll go hang out. But right now I'm watching my show. A day to remember. Days of our lives.
More about Garrett's childhood. Revealed. Yeah. McDonald's chicken nuggets. Get out of the way of... Don't sip on that drink.
All right. So, So Glass
I'll go.
is I always forget to do a summary of what the movie is, so I'm going to do that this week.
Lay it on me.
Glass is a follow-up to Split and Unbreakable.
Mostly
this
just
is a movie 19 years in the making.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll get into that. But,
okay.
But yeah, basically this movie has been kind of gestating for a long time in M. Night Shyamalan's brain hole. And so we're going to talk about that. Basically, the major plot of it is we have the character from Split, played by James McAvoy, Kevin, and also David Dunn, and then Mr. Glass himself, played by Samuel L. Jackson. And they all come together, and they're basically in a hospital the whole time. And that's the movie. Wow. So, good, bad, great, or terrible. Ian, what do you think?
That was a terrible summary. I'm going to give this movie of Glass, Unbreakable was, decent. Split, I didn't see, but I heard was good.
I like Split a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Split's actually, this is a fun little kind of workaround being our 101st episode. I think Split was one of the first 3 things we reviewed on this podcast as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So,
I'm glad I was not here for that because I don't want to see that movie.
It's good, man. You really should.
I can pretty much, I can imagine exactly what it'd be like.
Well, now you can, but if you hadn't seen Glass before, you wouldn't have been able to guess it.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing with the light is pretty interesting, but anyways, we're not talking about that right now. I think this movie is bad.
Okay. Can you explain why spoiler free is
spoiler free why this movie is bad? It camps. If that's an excuse to use the word, but it's super campy. Doesn't feel like it goes anywhere. When it starts to feel like it goes somewhere, it hits a brick wall every time. Every time. I feel like the story doesn't really move. I think the end should have been at the beginning, honestly, and it would have made 10 times more sense, and it would have been more enjoyable. But M. Night Shyamalan's got to do his.
He's got to have a twist.
He's got to have a twist, and even if they had hinted towards it at the beginning, it would have been better, because everything just seemed sort of lost. You didn't really know what the movie was about.
Yeah,
and even though you understood kind of everyone's sort of goals and ambitions, you didn't really know what the movie wanted to tell you until 5 minutes before the movie was over.
Yeah.
And that's not a good way to have a 2.5-hour movie.
Is it that long?
Mm-hmm.
Golly.
Yep.
It felt like it.
It felt like it. And you know why? Because you didn't know what the heck was going on for 2.5 hours.
What the heck is going on in Glass?
Yeah. 2 hours, 25 minutes. You're just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And then finally you're like, oh. It's like, oh.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was when I walked out. I went, eh.
Yeah.
I'm also giving it a bad.
Okay.
And I was on the fence for a little bit.
Yeah. On the fence of?
I was on the fence between bad and good because there's not a fair, there's only 4 Twitter poll options, so we stick with good, bad, good, or terrible. It's a terrible rating system. I love it.
It's okay.
But yeah, so basically what happened is I liked the movie at the beginning.
Okay.
It was very reminiscent of kind of how I felt watching Split. Like there was the intrigue and the pacing was pretty good and stuff.
Yeah.
But the movie gets worse as it goes on.
Mm-hmm.
The longer you watch it, the less good it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, M. Night Shyamalan's got his twist in there, and the twist is just out of nowhere. It's just a thing that happens. It's like, okay, I mean, no, there's nothing to make you question. Anyway,
yeah.
So it's just it's a nonsense thing that happens at the end. You don't know what the movie's about. You're right at all until the very last 2 minutes,
mm-hmm.
and at that point it just tells you what it's about. And it's like, well,
you had 2 hours to show us.
Why am I even watching this then? You could have just written a blog post.
True.
Right? It's just which a little bit of sizzle for later from blog posts.
Oh no.
But yeah, it's just. It's incredibly frustrating to me because I felt like at the beginning, there's bad dialogue throughout.
Yes.
There's really, really, really bad M. Night Shyamalan wrote it for sure dialogue.
Yeah.
And they're painful moments to get through. You're just get me out of the scene. And then there's also stuff that's really interesting and good and visually intriguing. There's good use of color in the film.
Yeah.
There are good things from a filmmaking perspective, but the movie as a whole, I have to give it a bad because the story is just
okay.
I was bored by it. I shouldn't have been bored by it, and I shouldn't have been wondering why is this character in here.
Yeah.
And there's several characters like that.
At least 3.
Yeah, at least 3. So maybe all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm sitting. I can't say I walked out of it going, yeah, I'm glad I watched that movie.
Yeah.
Aquaman, for all of its things that I don't like, there's stuff in there that I'm just like, it wasn't a complete waste of my time. But by the end of this one, it didn't feel that way at the beginning, but by the end of this one, I was like, this is just dumb.
Yeah.
Like, and it wants to keep telling you how important it is, or how like, you know, it's getting into our reality and stuff like that. And it's
Here
like,
we
you
go.
know, it's about what we believe and blah blah blah. And it's just not. And the characters that should have character arcs don't.
Nope.
I would like to, throughout our spoiler discussion, talk about if anyone has an actual character arc in this film.
They tried their hardest to get two of them to have a character arc, but it just fell flat.
Yeah, there's...
Which the character arc was based on a lie, so of course it was going to fall flat.
It's just a movie that happened.
Yeah.
And so that's our spoiler-free review. We're going to get into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen Glass and you want to, you can go check it out. I'm going to try and do a better job this week of kind of talking about the plot as we go through to make sure, like, if you're not going to go watch the movie, you kind of understand what we're talking about a little
Exactly.
more. That's something that I'm working on improving.
Good luck.
Because I haven't done a great job of that in the past, so I'm sorry.
I mean, you know.
But thanks for joining us, even though you were incredibly confused last time.
I have no idea. Was it from the Kevin Hart movie?
Yeah, that's a big one. But then, like, also there's everything aside from all the ones I didn't write notes down on.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't write notes down on this one.
Way to go, bro.
It was too dark. Also, fun fact, I sat in the third row from the screen on this one.
Jeez.
So it was up in my face. It was so busy.
Yeah.
Incredibly busy. I was surprised.
Lean back, man. Lean back.
Yeah, they had the recliner seat, so I was.
I think that's where we sat, row H or whatever.
I was row C.
Maybe we were D.
I don't know if there is a row H. I think that's
Yeah.
the handicap row.
I think we were D.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so you were one row back from where I was.
Yeah.
Which must have been nice.
Yeah, you know, it wasn't too bad.
The row C is great for people who like that, like filling your vision and stuff. I like to see the full frame. And
you wear glasses, so.
But yeah. Also, there was a little bit of like just not the top was a little out of focus because it was right over the rim, so that sucked. But yeah, the whole deal with the recliner is that you get that nice reclining seat, and it's great. But I just want to be further back. It's just me, you know.
I
It's
gotcha.
not bad, but it's not what I want. So
I understand.
so I'm going to pull up some information on Glass real quick so we can talk about this. Basically, it's not doing great in reviews as far as Rotten Tomatoes goes and everything.
I thought it was like a 35, 30 on Rotten
36,
Tomatoes.
yeah.
Okay, 36.
So it's not doing great. Now, there are some critics who liked it and said this is great as a follow-up to Unbreakable, but there are lots of people just going, like this Nick Hasted from the Art says, Glass finally cracks due to Shyamalan's declining powers of plot and dialogue, falling far short of Mr. Glass's deviousness. So that's kind of what people are saying about it.
Yeah.
And
some people liked it, strangely enough.
Apparently my wife, she was in the bathroom after we watched it, and she was like, people are raving about it in there. Like, people are just going nuts. They loved it. It was like, why? Why?
Hey, maybe they haven't. I think maybe if you don't know M. Night Shyamalan and then the twist actually catches you off guard, maybe.
If I didn't know this was an M. Night Shyamalan movie, though, like if that was just not a part of it, I would still think the twist is bad.
Oh, yeah, me too. But for, normies, I guess.
Yeah, for normies.
Yeah, even
for
though you're
people with no analytical skills.
No. Normies have analytical skills.
Oh. My bad.
You're a normie, okay?
I'm sorry?
It's okay.
Can I help you? Be less of a jerk?
I'm sorry, bro.
What's a
You
normie?
think your hair's too long and you haven't cut it in like 2 weeks.
No, it's been a month.
A month, normie.
Wow. All right.
My hair's pink.
You get a... Well, two can play that game.
Oh my gosh.
I ain't scared of you and your pink hair.
You know who else wears wigs?
Who?
Normies.
Well, I've committed now.
If you don't take that.
In our Twitter poll, we asked, interested to see what you thought of Glass. Answer this poll. Is this trilogy unbreakable or are audiences split? Yeah, you have to. It's
Really?
the internet.
Really?
Cast your vote on the quality of this movie that was 19 years in the making. 67% said great, 33% said good.
I'm telling you, dude, people like this movie. Like, even in my Twitch chat, people are like, this is great.
I can't condone that buffoonery.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever hear the story about Tommy Lee Jones saying that to Jim Carrey on the set of Batman?
No.
Yeah. He said, "I cannot condone your buffoonery" when he was playing the Riddler.
The Riddler?
Yeah. Ridiculous. Okay, so look, you guys are free to vote whatever you want. That's fine, but I disagree.
Okay.
It's a real rough movie to get through because at the beginning I feel like it has more steam and the pacing is good.
Yeah.
Now look, there are a lot of people. I haven't seen Unbreakable, so it's full admittance here, but I've heard it's very slow, but it's a character piece, so it works in that regard.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously not going to argue against that because I don't know. But this movie starts out with more of the pacing of Split, which has a little bit, M. Night Shyamalan has a slower pace to his movies overall.
Yeah.
But Split had a good enough pace that you were constantly in it, and like the main character you're following along because you want her to escape from this situation that she's in, so you're in it, right?
Yeah.
And this one starts out with kind of a similar situation with these 4 girls being kidnapped, and so you are rooting for them to escape and for David to find them.
Yeah.
And that starts out really good, and then when he finally bumps into Kevin, you're like, oh man, what's gonna happen? Like all that stuff is good.
The cops are on their back,
It starts to fall apart as soon as they start to fight.
Yeah.
So M. Night Shyamalan is not the greatest action director.
It was he should have gotten someone else for that. All the fight scenes were very bad.
Yeah, and like not in a way where it was bad.
They were bad.
Where it was bad because it was like just poorly choreographed. It was poorly choreographed for people who are supposed to have superhero abilities or these superhuman powers. Like they made a big deal of like getting a shot of when Kevin climbs his feet up the wall and pushes.
Does the backflip.
I could do that.
No, you couldn't.
Not the backflip part, but the part where he's grabbing onto David and he just uses his feet to walk up. It's just leverage. I've done that on a wall.
Yeah.
And I'm fat.
Yeah.
So, well, all right. And so like it's not that, like I did that 2 days ago, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not a hard thing to do, but they treat it like it's this big moment of him like being super agile and stuff. And I was just not in it, especially when they moved to these cameras that are I forget what the technical term for it is.
Chest cam.
It's something funny, but yeah, like a chest cam. It's attached to him and it's looking at him and he's getting his self squeezed and stuff. I don't think it puts you in the moment or like makes you feel how David's feeling. It just is. Those cameras always pull you out of it. It's like, oh, I'm watching a GoPro.
Yeah,
which they're not. It's a cinema camera attached to that rig, but still,
it's now in Split. Does he kill a lot of people by grabbing them around the waist? Like grabbing them and just squeezing?
Well, the whole beast persona doesn't happen until the end of Split.
That's what I thought.
So a lot of what happens is although I mean I don't want to spoil anything about Split.
I'm not gonna watch it.
You should watch that movie, man.
Dude, I know what happens. I'm not gonna watch it.
You don't know what happens.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, you do. But basically, he shows up at the end and he eats a couple of the girls. It's pretty gross.
A couple of the girls.
Blah. Yeah. So that happens, and but the rest of the movie is just like they're trapped in where Kevin's keeping them at this zoo. And it's like, is he messing with them? Are there these different personas? He's also being treated for DID throughout the movie, so you're seeing like the toll it's taking on him.
Yeah,
it's good, man. It's a good story. It's character driven. It's about Kevin and it's about that girl,
Kevin Windlecrum.
Yes, and like that journey of discovery is good. This movie, it's like, well, we know what he does now, so we're just gonna have him attack people.
Let's just use it.
I still think that James McAvoy does an incredible job.
Oh yeah, he does great in this movie.
All those different personas and stuff. That's more than there were in the last one. There's new ones in this movie that you don't see in the last one.
Spot on.
Dude, it's so good. Samuel L. Jackson, I think, does a really good job as well.
Solid.
Kind of that it's not the over the top Samuel L. Jackson. It's the quiet, reserved genius.
Real like.
Even Bruce Willis doesn't phone it in as hard as he normally does.
No, he makes his Bruce Willis face.
Yeah, but the script doesn't give him anything to do. So I don't think he could have done better because there's nothing else he could have done.
Yeah,
because the script is just anyway. Yeah. But we'll get into that.
The whole reason I asked about the squeezing thing is because that was like his go-to thing.
Yeah,
and they made it seem like a big deal when he's squeezing Bruce Willis and he's I guess nothing's happening.
Yeah.
I guess that's what they were trying to portray, but it didn't really come off as that.
And because there's not a precedent for him killing people by crushing them around the waist, you don't feel like, oh man, he's withstanding the thing he does.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, good point.
If they had showed like the guy later, then maybe. But I feel like if the Beast killed people quicker, and then he tried that on Bruce Willis, that would be cooler. But obviously, it doesn't show it in Split, so there's nothing they could have done.
I like the scene where he kills the orderly by squeezing him around the chest. Like, they do it again, and I guess retroactively you go, oh, David's really invincible.
Yeah,
but
right.
I had forgotten about that by that point in the movie. But yeah, when he does that, I would have loved if they had just let him go all out and like he grabs the man's head and just stands on his chest and rips it off.
Yeah, just
something like that. We don't have to see that, but just like the headless body we kind of see or something like that. Exactly. And maybe I don't know. Maybe that would have pushed it into R-rated. Is this R-rated?
I don't know.
But
I do know that they do a really bad job of showcasing these superhuman powers.
Yeah,
and I think they do it because of what the ending portrays.
It's on purpose, but it's not entertaining because of
exactly. They're like, oh, maybe he really is just really strong. Well, anyways, we won't get to that yet, but still.
Yeah, it's like we'll definitely get into that. But yeah, once David knocks into him and all of that stuff starts happening and he's freeing the girls, like the one long shot of them going across the bars as he's setting them free is good.
It, yeah.
I liked that. It was like you were like going, yeah, break it open. I'm ready to see them go free.
Yeah.
But this is where the problems start with the fight, but also people don't make sense in this movie because everyone stands in a line in front of that table for a shot.
Exactly.
This movie has a lot of people in stressful situations just standing there.
Yeah, just not being stressed
or walking. Yeah. Oh no, these two crazy people that I've been tasked with keeping hidden are escaping. I guess I'll walk down this hallway. What? It's so incredibly frustrating to me because I was just sitting there going, and it's part of like, I get it, like he wanted the pacing to be slow, it's a character piece, whatever, but that's not the situation they're in, so it makes absolutely no sense, especially at the end.
It needs more panic and it needs more showcase of powers. IMO.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's just some real frustrating weird stuff. Let's sit here for a second. Are we having desync issues?
There's a bit of desync. Let me watch.
I put a marker so I can edit the sound.
Incredibly frustrating to me because I was just sitting there going, and it's part of like I get it.
Oh yeah, your camera's desynced.
It's a character piece, whatever. But that's not the situation they're in, so it makes absolutely no sense.
Mine is fine though.
Needs more panic.
Maybe I'll. One second, guys. So the camera's gonna freak out for a second. Don't worry about it. It's just a normal thing happening. Just a normal thing where it's gonna drop out completely.
Yeah, I probably just have to restart your camera. It's easy for me because you can't see my mouth, but you see your mouth very clearly, so.
Yeah, I tried to get it the best camera angle I could, but
you did good. You did great, man. Even though I look like a freaking 30-year-old. Whatever. Thanks, Chocolate Love, by the way. Also, hi, Katie.
Yeah, hi, my beautiful wife. Why are you watching at work?
That nice wig, lol.
Reconnect to a device. Okay.
Nice wig.
So now that that's been done, hopefully this is working better. It might be the whole thing is off.
No, mine was good. You and your damn Pop-Tart.
All right, Chocolate Love.
Language.
Watch my mouth and tell me if things are matching up. Can you match my chews?
Yeah, it's good.
We're back. All right, here we go.
Guess who's back?
Last thing I said was there's just a bunch of weird stuff in here with characters walking slow and stuff.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, sorry, I had to make an edit point for us. Thanks, Chocolate Love, for being trustworthy and all that fun stuff. All right. Once they get outside, I thought the light flashing and triggering different personalities was interesting.
It was.
But it also, this isn't something I thought of. I was kind of just, because I was still trying to sort through some stuff about the movie.
Right.
I was watching some other reviews and stuff, and people pointed out online that he could have just covered his eyes.
Right? He
keeps running at it with his eyes wide open. If he had just closed his eyes.
He tried to use a whole freaking body to stop him. Literally, he could have taken his pants off.
He could have taken a pillowcase and just... The pillow itself would have been enough to stop the light.
Yeah.
So, look, it's a testament to the movie that I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But also at the same time, it's so incredibly dumb.
Imagine being in the movie theater and actually thinking that. I would have absolutely hated.
I would have been so angry the whole time.
All of it. That's hilarious, actually.
Gosh. Yeah. So
just close his eyes.
Just do this and then run at the door.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like. Obviously, they must have thought about that at some point and went, people won't notice.
I didn't notice.
We'll just establish that he just keeps running at it with his eyes open and no one will question it.
Yeah.
And enough people didn't, I guess.
Honestly, he should have ran at it with his eyes closed one time, and if it still worked, and then that would have.
Yeah, or like it's not the light, because our bodies have photosensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
There was a test that was done, a sleep study, basically, where they put little LED lights in a blanket down by people's feet and would turn them on when the people weren't noticing, and it interrupted their sleep cycle.
Really?
So our bodies do have some photosensitivity, which is pretty interesting. So they could have gotten away with maybe that if they had just explained it.
Explained it a little bit.
But
yeah, she could have, because there was a big monologue. She could have just said, "And don't try to close your eyes because your whole light is blah blah blah."
Yeah, it's enough light that your body notices it.
Exactly.
Either way,
so
something like that.
Yeah. Can we talk about the first brick wall in this movie?
Yeah, talk about the first brick wall.
Besides when they get arrested, the psychiatrist lady.
I have a question about her lipstick.
I mean, whatever, lipstick aside.
Does it or does it not extend past the bottom of her lip?
They try to make her lips look fuller. That's a normal thing.
She looks like a clown.
She has no lips.
She has full clown face.
You can't really tell that much.
It was all I could look at.
There are some extreme close-ups, yes. But anyways, they tried so hard to make her like a creepy, like, psychiatrist lady.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was completely off the mark. And I knew as soon as I saw that actress, I was like, they got her because of American Horror Story. Like,
is that what she's known for?
Yeah,
okay.
American Horror Story. And
I don't watch it because I'm a big baby.
Honestly, it's actually kind of good, but I think the third or the fourth season I had to stop because it just got too much. Like
yeah. Is that the one with the bee head?
No. Honestly, if I had watched, it was the hotel one. If I had watched after the hotel, I'd probably be fine again. But honestly, after that first episode, I had to swear off of it.
Yeah.
I can't even describe it. That's how bad it was. But anyways.
There's the TV part of our movies, TV, and the news.
Yeah. Right? But anyway, like, they tried to make her so creepy, and it completely threw me off because it didn't give it wasn't like a creepy vibe.
Yeah.
Vibed movie. Right? If
the trailer is.
Yeah, it was. And like, I didn't feel that at all. It just seemed so vanilla. And so it kind of hit a brick wall because not only did it feel vanilla, and I was like, okay, is this supposed to be creepy? Is it supposed to be helpful? Is this supposed to be something else I don't know about yet? Or am I just bored?
Yeah.
And it just ended up, I was just bored because literally nothing came from her being anything.
I have a question for you. That's kind of a broader question. But is it possible for there to be actors who are good actors that are believable, but are people that you personally don't believe when you watch them? Like someone who just doesn't do it for you? They don't seem like a genuine person to you specifically?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Sarah Paulson.
Is that the...
yeah, the actress
lady
who plays the psychiatrist.
Okay.
She... When we watched Bird Box, she was the part of the movie that I was like... kind of glad that ended early because I'd never really get fully into a character she plays. She was in Ocean's 8.
Yeah, she was.
I don't know. There's just something about Sarah Paulson that I'm not digging on her technical ability or anything like that. She's just an actress that doesn't do it for me.
She does a good creepy. If you watch American Horror Story with her in it, you can she kills it.
Yeah, I mean maybe
and that's why she's been in so much stuff.
Try that, but I don't like horror.
If you it's not really horror, more as it is thriller.
Okay.
But if you do watch it, please, for the love of all things holy, skip Hotel.
Okay.
Please, dude. Don't watch that first.
Alternatively, episode. I could watch the rebooted Carmen Sandiego.
Is she in that?
No.
Okay.
No, I was just looking for anything else.
Yeah, I don't want to see that because it's a teenage Carmen Sandiego.
And she's a hero? Why is she the hero?
I know, it's so dumb. Like, it's Carmen Sandiego. She's the bad guy, but she's the bad guy you root for.
Right, yeah, but you have to track her down and get the Eiffel Tower back.
Exactly.
Everyone knows the story.
She steals stuff, but, she's like, but is she that bad? She steals stuff. She's bad.
I don't know. In the game that I had, she locked a bunch of the agents in, like, tanks in a pyramid, so it's not great. She's cryogenically freezing people without their willing.
It was their fault for chasing her. And that's how it made us feel.
Good point.
That's how it made us feel.
Point.
But she's a good guy. But anyways.
It's their fault for chasing her and not being good.
Exactly.
But I could solve those word puzzles. So,
but anyways, that was my first brick wall.
Okay. What's your second brick wall?
The second brick wall was once Samuel L. Jackson started to become coherent. I guess.
When he kind of stopped faking being out.
It started to pick up a little bit. So I'm like, oh man, he's getting out of his room. These things are happening. Like the balls are rolling, right?
Yeah.
So I'm expecting something to start picking up, and it hits a brick wall again. After the surgery, it shows like him replacing the lens. And you're like, oh, that's cool. I guess, he thought ahead to all this, and he showed himself on camera. So it wasn't him, like, actually being caught. He wanted to be caught, so they can do all of that. And then, literally, once they hit that hallway, it was just, like, brick wall. Because that's when it started, like, the whole, why are people not more panicked? Like, why do they...
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's leaps in logic. And when you go into any movie, there is it's called suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
And you accept some things that don't quite make sense or a little crazy. This man can lift a car. This man can, program a computer with 4 keyboards in front of him typing on each one at the same time. Mm-hmm. And, you accept things, you just go, it's hyperbole to speed things along.
Exactly.
I'm in it, fine. But there are characters in this that just have no logic to them whatsoever.
Nope. I
mean, worse than Halloween in some cases. I'm just like, you're dumber than people in a slasher movie.
Yeah.
And so there's, for me, like the orderlies, I don't get it. Like, is this supposed to be a commentary on like how people are treated poorly in mental institutions? Okay, if you want to go with that, fine. But like the orderly in particular who threatens Mr. Glass later on, I was so confused in that scene because so basically he hears a noise, he knows that Mr. Glass is super smart, and he goes in there to check to see if he's been getting out of his room and stuff.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the movie, he's talking about how this lady got sent in and she's telling him how to do stuff and everything. He's like, we got along just fine without her, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And it seems like they kind of actually do have
a little bit of a back and forth.
Yeah,
but honestly, Samuel Jackson's just here like,
yeah. But it seems like he doesn't treat him terribly.
Exactly.
But then he goes in the room because he thinks that maybe he's gotten out, and he threatens to break his legs, even going so far as to drop a flashlight almost to where it breaks his legs.
Yeah.
And then and threatening him and being like, he has full on crazy eyes. Mm-hmm. And I just was like, how am I supposed to feel about it? It wasn't until after, like right as the scene ended, that I went, oh no, he's scared, so he's going in there to try and it's an interrogation. It's not him being abusive.
Exactly.
Essentially. But during the scene, I just was like,
what is happening?
What is this?
It was a testament to Samuel L. Jackson because he was trying to see if he's actually coherent. Yeah. See if he'd flinch or something, but he didn't. Yeah. So that's what they were trying to show.
Samuel L. Jackson's facial twitches in this are great.
Oh yeah, it's just like
They don't look like a man trying to twitch. They look like a man twitching.
Yeah, like a man stuck in his own body almost. Yeah,
and they're random and they just happen. Like it's good. It's a really good performance on his part.
He did great
with that in particular, especially. The part where like the use of color is good. M. Night Shyamalan actually tweeted out about this. He was talking about how the room where they all do the group session is pink because it's when they don't believe in their superpowers, they're in a very drab world. Mm-hmm. But when they do believe, the color's more vibrant and stuff.
Yeah.
And I like that. I noticed it throughout. I was like, okay, you feel that more than you kind of think about it. Mm-hmm. But it is good use of color. And he talks about how that room is pink because it's not quite red, but it's not white, but it's that transition into them doubting.
Yeah.
And so, like, M. Night Shyamalan is not a terrible filmmaker.
He's not. He thinks about it.
These things through. But then there's just, like, the third act of this film is so slow.
He overthinks things, to be honest.
And so self-important that it becomes unwatchable.
Honestly, that whole parking lot scene was just terrible.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not... And there's so much... David Dunn just stands around as much as possible and then, like...
yeah.
He does this.
Yeah, and he moves the van.
Yeah.
Hey, look how strong we are. We can move this van.
Right. I didn't need Batman versus... Well, that is incredible strength to, like, throw someone into a car and it skids sideways. I liked the shot where the camera is actually attached to the side of the van and he's slamming Kevin into it and the car keeps moving forward.
Yeah.
I liked that, but I also was sitting there going, did they just have it on, like, a dolly and every time he hit, they had it triggered, or like how did they grip that? Basically was my question. But anyway, but I like the shot.
Yeah,
and it shows, you know, superhuman strength without going into I'm Superman and I shall fly backwards fast enough that the timeline shall rewind.
Yeah,
because that makes sense.
It does.
Oh, okay. Well, my bad. And so you know, I stuff like that is good. The subtlety of the superpowers, I think, is an interesting idea.
Yeah. Because
it is supposed to be this world where we're just humans who can do more than we think.
Yeah.
We have potential that's yet to be unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would be totally on board with that, except for the fact that, like, there's this one shot that's so funny in the parking lot where they got to a wide shot of the Beast, like, across the grass, and the dolly shot makes it look intimidating, but this wide static shot, you're just like...
Makes it look dumb.
It should have had cricket noises.
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous.
Yep.
And I get it, like, you set up the shot and all that stuff, but maybe you should have chosen not to use it.
Not to use that one, yeah.
And I'm being super critical, but it's there's so many things like that take you out of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, there are things like the thing where Kevin tells him that the Beast wants him to roll forward when the security guards come at him.
Yeah.
And as he's rolling away, you're trying to get a glimpse at, you know, the fight going on in the background. It's like this guy's taking on 3 guys like nothing, and it's awesome and crazy for that reason. But you're interested in, like, what's Mr. Glass doing? Like, what's he's on something else. He's already past this moment that's happening.
Yeah.
So what is it? But I don't know, man.
It makes it start like something's about to happen.
Right? Yeah.
And then, like, that was my third brick wall. It's like, oh man, like, this is action, like, background, and like he's going. You're thinking they're about to go to, like, this big building and, like, start off this big, like, chain event or something like that.
Yeah.
And parking lot.
The plot twist in this movie is the internet.
Pretty much. And like they try to have like 3 plot twists, and I don't know. I just get kind of lost.
Yeah, it's. Okay, so Sarah Paulson's character throughout, you pretty much, you know, she's a creepy psychiatrist lady who's obsessed with this stuff. That's kind of what you think. At the end, it's revealed creepy. As they're drowning, as the agents that she's brought in are drowning David Dunn and letting Mr. Glass die from his injuries that he sustained. And because basically at the end, we find out that the train crash that David was on.
Yes.
Is also the same train crash where Kevin's father died.
Yes.
And Mr. Glass is responsible for both of those things happening.
And he realizes that his superpower is finding other or making other people with superpowers.
He says, I make superheroes.
Yeah, I make superheroes.
Although one of them is definitely a supervillain, so superheroes with an S is a little misleading.
I mean, in his head, he's a superhero, right? The Beast, he's there to, you know,
protect the broken.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, he's a villain.
You know, Kevin Windlecrum.
he eats little girls, so I'm just gonna put a pin in that.
Did they ever explain why he did that? In Split, maybe?
Yeah. So basically, the idea is that the Beast, Kevin experienced so much torture and abuse and stuff, and the Beast is a manifestation of a personality that is there to protect the people who suffer.
Yeah.
So if you have suffered, you don't get eaten because you understand you're washed clean by your suffering is basically the idea, which is ridiculous. We're washed clean by the blood of Jesus Christ. That's what I'm saying. But the thing that happens in that movie at the end is like the reason I can't remember her name.
whatever.
Mackenzie,
girl.
whatever. The reason she is allowed to escape is because she has suffered at the hands of her uncle, I believe it is. Casey, sorry. Not
Yeah.
Mackenzie. And that just it works as what it is, and that's great. But in this movie, kind of the idea that that's something that makes him a superhero is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you find people who have hurt, and if they haven't hurt, you kill them. Like, that's not a hero.
True.
So-
True.
It just, I felt weird about them. If he had said superhumans or something
Maybe.
like that, I would have been like, that logic
Yeah.
tracks. But for someone who's so incredibly smart, that is a ridiculous.
Ridiculous claim.
Although I guess
mean,
he sees himself as a hero for setting those things free. So whatever.
he sees all of them as like, but I mean, even in the movie, he calls himself the bad guy,
Right? Yeah.
right? So
don't
I
get
think superheroes is more of a term of his comic book kind of like geekiness coming out, because this was like also the moment where he was like, yes, I wasn't wrong, I was right. So he was like, I make superheroes. Like he was like all like off in his own, happy world.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I mean, I can see it.
Okay, so let's talk about character arcs, because I think we talked about a lot of this stuff. Well, so let's talk about the real twist of the movie.
The real twist.
The two twists.
Yeah,
the two real twists.
as the girl is keeping the beast in the parking lot because we don't want to go anywhere besides the parking lot.
Yep. Well, that would add to the budget. This is only like I need to look at the budget.
I could
of this
assume
movie.
it's fairly low.
It's $20 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
so
I just spit a little bit. I know
okay.
I saw your eyes go. Ugh.
No, I was like, oh, it hit the mic.
Yep. My bad. So $20 million is not a lot. It looks good for it looks really good for $20 million.
Yeah, solid shots and stuff like that.
But the
Makes sense.
yeah, like keeping it small, I don't think was the problem.
No.
For me, what was the problem was that once they get to that final battle, it is uninteresting.
Yep.
It
It's
could
more
have
of
been
the
interesting
same.
in that setting.
Yeah.
I still think, but it's not.
It could have been, but it was just so stagnant of a fight, no clear winner, and also it was just like a repeat of the first fight, just like a constant, just like struggle.
Right, yeah. Without any, there's no twists and turns of this person has the upper hand. No, this person has the upper hand. The time that actually happens is when Kevin throws him into the tank of water.
It doesn't.
And
really.
you're like, oh man, this is like something's actually happening now.
Yeah.
But then they both die.
Yeah. Well, it's dumb because he shouldn't. I thought he doesn't have his powers, or he's like super weak, but he can still break out when he's in the water. Like he was able to.
Well,
break
it was
through with his
already
fist.
broken.
No.
No, the tank was cracking.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
And
with
so
all
he
the
just started
commotion
punching it.
and him getting like thrown into the wall and stuff
Mm-hmm.
by the beast. So it was cracking, and he just hit a point of weakness.
Okay, because I thought he couldn't even like stand up barely, so he was able to punch through this because, whatever.
That was his moment of heroism, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, it was a little like, shouldn't he just be kind of a rag doll in there getting
Exactly, that's what I thought.
flipped around?
I was like, oh, he's in water, rip, but he's able to punch through that.
Yeah.
But anyways,
But basically, the psychiatrist, she gets down in front of him as they're shoving his head into a puddle, which, gosh, that went on forever.
Yeah.
And she tells him to take her hand, and he touches her, and he sees a vision of
a meeting.
of a meeting, and basically in the meeting. So I have a question about
I'm
this.
laughing because of how the meeting happens.
The meeting happens because the door locks, and I'm just sitting there going, that's so loud that everyone heard it. Did they have to install a microphone and speakers for that one particular lock?
Who knows? But like the funny thing is like they meet in public places, and their cue to start the meeting is when everyone else leaves. Yeah. It just makes me laugh.
Well, and a clunk of the
like,
lock.
Everyone's gone.
It's
Clunk.
just us now.
Yeah.
Like, and who is this society? What's happening? We don't know. They don't really explain. It's just
No,
like
they don't explain
we've
anything.
kept people with superhuman abilities at bay for 10,000 years, and it's
Yeah.
worked out pretty well. So just stop trying to mess with it.
Yeah, like we're keeping it fair. And like I understood the plight of them, but it was just so dumb because I imagine me in like one of those settings, like eating, and then all of a sudden it gets quiet. I wouldn't just keep talking. I'd be quiet too. I'd be like, what the
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden I'm in this meeting I'm not supposed to be in.
Yeah, I would love to like get some shots from that movie and just have them playing and like green screen you in going, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Because that's how I felt in the movie.
Right? It's so dumb. Like it was like, it's supposed to be eerie. Like the whole group and the whole like thing is supposed to be eerie, but they don't really pull off eerie.
Why would they be eerie is my question. Why is that the tone they're going for with this?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense. They would see themselves as maybe not, good guys, but a necessary evil. It's just like, we take it seriously, but there's not this, I'm Sarah Paulson. Like
Exactly.
you don't need that.
Exactly.
And I guess it's just M. Night Shyamalan's like, suspense horror fetish that he's got going on. That it has to be that way. But
I guess.
I don't know, man. Yuck.
I couldn't tell you.
And the whole meeting, like, it's this super long shot from up high, just looking down on this, and it sits there for I think like 30 seconds.
Pretty much her whole talk.
It's a whole long. Well, did she even speak?
Yeah.
In the first one?
Oh no, not in the first one.
Yeah, so it's just a static shot, because the second one at least dollies in and does something, but this one just is like a static shot. You're just like, what's happening? I guess you see the tattoo and you immediately go, secret organization. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
What's their deal? And then she kind of explains it a little bit by talking to each of the individual characters, but that takes so long.
It does.
It's so it fizzles out so hard at the end. And I don't know, man. I feel like the pacing should get a little bit quicker towards the end of a movie, not the other way around.
Not slow it down. And it just like, it hit a yield. It hit a hard yield. Because I get what they were trying to do. Just be like, oh, let's try to react this into our sort of reality and explain why there are no superheroes in our reality, right? But this whole time they've been explaining like strongman and like what comics are based off of and stuff like that. And then at the very end, they're like, this is why they don't exist, right? Type of thing. This is why they aren't prevalent, is what I should say. And it was interesting, but just poorly executed.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting idea too, which is why I was almost going to give this a good, because I was like, no, that's a good idea, but it's just so poorly done.
Yeah, I know. Would it have been better if the twist wasn't really a twist, but it was more at the beginning? Like,
that's what I was saying. It's like there should have been sprinkles of that idea throughout.
Honestly, even if it was just a monologue at the beginning, like her monologue saying, for 10,000 years we've done this and that and that. I'm telling you, bro.
I wouldn't have liked that, but I would have liked if they had cast more doubt on her character throughout.
I guess.
And I get it. It's supposed to be a twist. You're not supposed to know. You're supposed to know about as little as the characters do when she's talking to them.
Exactly.
So, like, I understand why, but at the same time, like,
But twists make things earlier in the movie make sense. That's what twists are for. They're like, oh, this makes sense now. None of the movie really made sense, and it was slow because of it. I think if you knew a little bit more about it, like you said, sprinkle, but I mean, I'm talking right at the beginning, like Black Panther type monologue, just right there at the beginning. Because sometimes it works, Sometimes
it does.
If they make it interesting, it can work. And like that would be an interesting tidbit to try to put together all of these worlds, because you don't know what the heck this is about. Is this more about Split? Is this more about Bruce Willis's Unbreakable character? Is this something with Samuel L. Jackson trying to take over the world?
Yeah.
Who the heck knows?
Well, someone noted, I think it was maybe Jeremy Johns on YouTube, but he said basically this movie is 3 different movies.
Exactly.
The first part is David Dunn's movie, the second part is Kevin's movie, and the third part is actually Glass's movie, and it's an Unbreakable sequel.
Exactly.
And I think he's right, because like the second part does feel a little bit more like Split. The first part in particular feels kind of like a different thing.
It feels like Unbreakable. That's what Unbreakable was like.
The first part was?
Yeah.
So the third part is not what Unbreakable feels like? It's not that slow? Because I've heard it's really slow. I
mean, it's slow-ish because it's like an origin story, almost. That doesn't know it's an origin story.
Yeah.
But it was still like the beginning, He's the night watcher or whatever.
The overseer.
The overseer. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Vault boy.
But this could have felt like a complete movie if we had a good idea of where it was going.
Yeah. The thing about the end of a movie, and this is something you learn in screenwriting 101, it has to be a complete surprise and utterly inevitable.
Yeah.
You have to go, oh, of course. But still be like, what?
Yeah.
You know? And not in that order.
Exactly.
You have to go, what?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Yes, just like that. And this one just goes, what?
Yeah, it's like, what? Oh, okay.
What? What?
Like, I'll believe it because it's in the movie, you know?
Right, yeah, I understand this is what you were telling me has happened. And indeed, it did happen in the movie.
Yeah.
But also, I have no reason to like think that might be a thing or whatever. Like I guess they're trying to hint at it throughout with the constant talking about, oh, comic books are this secret history and whatever. But I don't believe any of that when it's happening.
No, you don't.
The comic book stuff in this is the worst part of this movie.
It is, because it's just like...
Aside from the pacing.
Like, why? Like, oh, you're talking about comic book heroes now? It's like, I get it, you know. Oh, look, she's looking up a comic book and it reminds her of the Beast. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so...
Why would a comic book already written be about someone who's around now?
Great question. Great question.
Hey, I found my dad in a comic book. But the comic book was written like 30 years ago. Yeah. Well, you know, maybe their future...
Is this why he left me, was to go be in comics?
Exactly. It's like, it's so dumb. They should have, like, honestly, if they had a meeting at the beginning and you just don't know what the heck's going on. Like,
yeah, maybe something
an empty
like
restaurant and like it just goes quiet and it's just like, I don't know, you know? Something where it can loop back. And I know that's a cheesy thing to do, but it really helps push together things that don't make sense in a movie. Like, honestly, if I could edit the movie, I'd put, like, the meeting of her actually talking right at the beginning and then just play it like that. And then, because...
Yeah, because the twist is not that they're going to die. The twist is that... I mean, although it was a little surprising to me that they all died.
Yeah, I was surprised they died.
But the other twist is that the secret still gets out.
Exactly.
But one of the worst moments in this movie comes right near the end when she, for some reason, has gone to a comic book store and then she's standing there looking through comics and there's these two nerds in the background going, no, man, he's too smart for you. There's always a real plan.
Yeah.
And it's like, no one talks like this about comics.
No.
No one talks about this.
Whoa.
No one talks in that much of a broad, like...
My dude.
It's bad.
Have you ever been to a comic book store?
Yes.
Okay.
There's one here in where we live.
Where?
In Temple?
Game Exchange?
No, not Game Exchange. It's over by it's if you're going from the hospital over to the Arby's and Chick-fil-A and stuff. Yeah. On your left, there's a comic book store right before you cross over that bridge.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's called something with a T, toys and comics or something.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking
about. So yeah.
Okay, I can get that. But what were we talking about?
How it's really unrealistic and bad dialogue.
Yes. Yes. But honestly, it was needed-ish. But at the same time, it was kind of like one of the worst parts of the movie. Because it led to some awkward moments.
Yeah, so there's awkward moments between the three characters who are related to the people that died, and
the psychiatrist.
I would have preferred for Mr. Glass to have said something earlier in the movie that, like, in a flashback instead of this ham-fisted thing of she's in a comic book store, but comics things. There's a real plan. He's too smart for you. Blah blah blah.
Exactly.
Like, especially because they flash back and. It is one of the worst things in this movie is when she sits down and goes, I've placed cameras everywhere. It's like, you're giving him intel, and you know that.
He's smart.
And you're giving him this like, oh, I have a distribution system now. Great. I've got my own TV channel.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious the first time.
It was pretty obvious, but, like, not obvious for her. And not like, it wasn't so obvious for me because it was really like, we're watching you, and there's nothing you can do we won't see. Even though I guess they only had one person watching them at a time, which was very dumb.
Another leap in logic that I was like, I'm just going to follow. But yeah, the fact that there's only one orderly and a guard at the door, terrible.
For 3 patients?
Ridiculous. For 3 high-profile patients.
Like this man's a mass murderer patients.
Yes.
Like, it shouldn't, anyways.
2 mass murders and a guy that the police have been searching for as a vigilante.
Exactly. They have one untrained orderly.
Yep.
But anyways, we won't get into that. Honestly, this is my wrap up. If we're, I don't know if we're there yet, but, like, seriously, they should have done something to help you understand what the heck this movie was about much earlier than the end.
Yeah.
Much earlier, because they didn't even have to tell us who was in. Like, it could have been, we could have seen the tattoos, but it, like, earlier in the movie, but it could have been a surprise that the psychiatrist was in it. Like, obviously we would have probably known because it's just so obvious, but like that would have been a bigger twist than just knowing there was an organization altogether.
Or if we had seen like the like one of the orderlies had a similar-ish tattoo and we just saw a flash of it or something, and like, you know, there's a little bit of misdirection there, and maybe, you know, she, when she finds him dead, she says something like, you know,
we lost one.
Either we lost one or he's not actually a part of it, and she just goes, people, you know, don't understand symbols anymore. You know, something that's like, you know, there's no respect for
that
for
symbol.
those things.
Okay.
And so I don't know. I wanted something. I wasn't excited for this movie, so I was ready to be kind of pleasantly surprised when I watched the trailer. I was like, I don't know if I'm in this. But at the same time, I was like, well, Split surprised me. Yeah. This probably could as well. But the pacing gets slower towards the end. David Dunn has no character arc. The moment where he breaks down that door should have been like a triumph moment, and instead it was just like, okay,
and I'm out.
He did it. He doesn't have to overcome any fears. He doesn't have to, and he's the hero.
Yeah.
Of the story, as close as you can get to one.
Yeah, he's
you know, Glass is an antagonist, even though he's kind of the title character.
Exactly.
And I feel like there should have been a, you know, if the point of the movie is it's about who we believe that we are, they like hint at it with him going, regular people's bones break against metal, you know, and then he does it. But like when he sees the dent he makes in the door, there should have been a moment. It should have been dramatized there, and it's not.
It was a little dramatized. You know, they did like the little pan out. The little pan out, and then it was outside, and then you saw the door break down. Well, into the camera.
But they dolly in a little bit on his face, and when he goes, "Oh yeah, I did it," but it looks like Bruce Willis going, "Oh yeah,
yeah, he just made
someone
the Bruce
made
Willis
a dent
face.
in that door for me. Good, and I'm strong."
Yeah, it was. I think they tried to do the character arc, but like a negative character arc with all of the superheroes.
Yeah,
by making them kind of dip and say, maybe I'm not, you know, special. Like, right. I think the character arc was them doubting themselves and then not doubting themselves, which was a dumb character arc to have. But I feel like that's the only change in persona that happened throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. Well, it's like...
And they tried to make a big deal about the Horde not believing anymore and stuff like that, which was not...
I mean, maybe David being able to break the tank, even, you know, points of weakness, but still being able to move underwater is his you know, I believe I can do this moment. But it's
he
like...
couldn't stop getting drowned, and he wasn't even underwater anymore. Sorry for laughing, but...
No, it's funny.
Seriously, dude. And how did no one see that? Right? Getting drowned slowly,
dude. When okay, I want to talk about bad dialogue again because as they're pulling his son away from the scene, who has been allowed to just run free and not be in any real danger at any point, he's screaming, "That's my dad over there! You've got to help him. Water is his weakness. He's really weak right now." It's like, we get it. He's weak. You don't have to scream it at me.
Whenever stuff like that happens in movies, I always go like this.
Yep, it's on the nose. On the nose dialogue, and it's
like, oh, he's about to die.
It's bad because it tells you that. It tells you, no, these guys are not here to help.
Yeah,
because they're gonna
otherwise they'd let you go see your dad. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the whole it's just, man, it's unsatisfying in every way I can think of.
Yeah.
Also, Casey, her character, I don't understand how that character is the same as it was from Split. Watching it from Split, it's like, yes, they both experienced pain, and like that's how she gets out. But as far as I know, at the end of the maybe I need to rewatch it. But at the end of the movie, she's not just ready to go help him and make him better. She's like, he tried to kill me and he ate my friends. Yeah. So,
well, in this movie, they made it seem like she was really invested in like a couple of the personas. So I thought,
well, Kevin, because Kevin's the real person.
Yeah, Kevin Wendell-Crumb, and then maybe like a couple of the other ones because here's what I thought Split was with her getting away. That some of the personas helped her, and then some of them didn't.
Kevin does,
and not the country dude.
The country dude actually wasn't in the first one.
Okay.
Or second one, sorry. Split.
Yeah.
The one that immediately precedes this film.
Yeah.
And, I need to see it again because I don't remember all that super clearly. I just remember the pacing and the feel of watching the movie and being like, I'm in this movie.
Like, this is going.
And I was not in that with Glass. So
I feel you.
There's not a lot.
Anything, what would you change about Glass?
What would I change about Glass?
Yeah.
Pacing, order of events.
Yeah.
I would change the whole wrap up where it's like, oh, we've put it out on the internet and now we'll awaken a bunch of people who believe in themselves. No, some idiot's just gonna go, I think I can fly, and throw himself off a roof and die.
True that.
It's the internet. Dumb challenges exist everywhere.
That was such an awkward shot, by the way.
Yeah.
3 awkward things about that shot. That old lady forced her hand into both of those young kids' laps.
Yes.
That was awkward.
I thought it was weird. I was like, if this was a man, everyone would be screaming right now.
Yeah, that was very awkward. For 2, that kid's eyes were freaking creepy because they were like full on black with his eyes wide open.
Uh-huh.
He had like full on freaking alien eyes. I'm like, okay.
We're talking about Joseph Dunn?
Joseph Dunn,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, ugh. And then the girl is just...
Shark eyes.
First, they started off by like, I feel like they were like over-sexualizing her a little bit. Did you feel that?
There were a couple of shots.
Because like early on, I'm like, this is a high school kid. Like they really put her into some questionable clothing. But
a sweater. It's obviously cold. It looks cold anyway.
Whatever. and then at the end, it was just awkward. Everything she did was awkward to me.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't see the second movie I didn't see Split, it was just awkward. Everything she did.
Yeah, she's kind of a weirdo in Split as well because she doesn't feel like a lot of the other girls, and she is an outcast because of the things that she's dealt with. She's not the same as everyone. But her character it feels fully realized in Split, and in this one I just was like, she's a pawn.
Yeah,
she's a pawn.
Something to get the beast killed.
Pierce is a pawn. the guy who gets crushed. Just everyone's just kind of like being moved around. There's not a lot of anything in it.
Maybe that's what M. Night Shyamalan wanted. Maybe he wanted us to not like this movie so we could have a twist at the end of our lives. I don't know.
The twist is we'll realize this is genius 10 years from now.
Oh my gosh, he knew all along.
Yeah, when actual humans start to show up with superhero abilities in the real world, we're going to be like, Glass was right.
I mean, honestly.
What kind of place are you looking for?
I don't care.
Glassware
Siri.
stores or opticians? Neither, Siri. Thanks for asking.
Hey, she knows what you need.
She's trying to be helpful, and I appreciate at least that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, also, Daryl, the whole scene where he's like, you gotta drink your water, bro, or you won't absorb your vitamin D's and stuff. I was like...
He's a talker.
I get it. There are people who actually talk like that.
There are.
But this felt like a fake version of that.
Yeah, it was really stretched just for, I guess, I don't even want to call it, like, story movement, but, like... Yeah, it was really awkward.
He never does anything like this through the rest of the movie either. So he's a normal person earlier on in the film, and then here he just is like, bro, workouts.
I'm a talker.
Constantly doing essential oils, brah. Whatever. It's just like, this came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Just like the interrogation scene. What's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening?
They used it to help move the plot along with Glass.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is there are things that happen because the script says so, not because it makes any character sense.
Exactly.
And that's really what it comes down to for me.
Yeah.
So.
I wish they had killed the douche orderly, though, and not the nice guy. I feel like they did that on purpose.
They killed both of them. Remember?
Oh, yeah, they did kill both of them. True.
Wow, this movie has been so forgettable for you. It's literally dumping out of your head as we get to the
Yeah, as soon as this podcast is over, I'm never thinking about this movie again.
Cool. All right, well then, I guess it's a good time for us to end then.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for listening. If you're in the stream, we're going to hang out a little bit after maybe. I mean, I will. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I'm down. People are here chilling.
Cool beans. But yeah, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoy this. Make sure you drop us a review on iTunes. It really helps more people discover us. You can drop a 5-star review if you want. You can drop a 1-star review, but why would you waste your time on doing that? Just 5 stars all the way. You don't want less than 5 stars for your effort.
We found out why we didn't have that many reviews today. It's either 5 stars or nothing. Oh,
well, I'm out. Give yourself 5 stars and send us your 5 stars that you gave yourself.
Oh yeah,
and we'll put them on our wall. So, all right. And other than that, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at RollSoundPod. You can also email us, rollsoundpod@gmail.com. And yeah, lots of fun stuff going on. We got another year ahead of us. We're almost out of January as well. So the dumpster fire of movie releases may, in fact,
almost be
continue forever.
Right?
No, it may almost be over. There's a lot of big stuff coming up with Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man, which I'm really excited for, even though you're not.
Gonna suck.
I'm sorry. I have opinions. I'm a man all to my own.
That's okay.
And hopefully never an Aquaman sequel. All right, with that, it's time to end. It's time to say goodbye like a goat.
I can't do this on Twitch. No, I'm kidding. Goodbye.
Goodbye.